Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We welcome you to Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's the Maryland Terrapins and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Left side standing up, reaching up, and Terrell Newby is in for his 9th rushing touchdown of the year and the day's opening score. Newby trying to find the edge and hit from behind. His momentum carries him in for his 2nd touchdown of the first quarter. Fife under pressure. Westerkamp hangs on. Touchdown, Jordan Westerkamp. Newby left side. And Newby makes it a trifecta.
It's Mills again, right up the middle. Touchdown, Nebraska. Martinez going to try to push him with a snake. I think the surge got him in, yes. Touchdown, Adrian Martinez. You fight if it means you not. You fight, you fight.
Harper takes a snap, handoff, Raiola, and an end-around handoff. Johnson there left, sweeps the edge. Trickery to perfection. Touchdown. 3 yards on the right to left run from Emmett Johnson.
It's one thing to not give the ball away, which we're doing a pretty good job, but we're taking the ball away. That's about playmakers.
Now Eckley is inside his own 15. Barney at the Husker 30. Snap back to Eckley. It's blocked. Blocked it. It's picked up. Connor Nelson. Touchdown Huskers. They came right at it. Nelson picked it up. 13-0 Scarlet and the cream.
Play the next play, but eventually, if you believe that, something good will happen.
Snap to Childs. 4-man twisting rush. Childs hits. He throws near left. It's intercepted. Picked off. It's Deshaun Singleton again.
If you believe that you're doing the right things and we're doing the right things as a team, then double down on it. Keep doing it better.
Snap. Quick screen near left. Leaping catch from Hunter. Leaks through. Breaks an ankle tackle. There he goes. Hunter 40. 35 30. Hunter all the way. That just might be your dagger.
We on the same page? Yes, sir. Fight.
Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. You ready to go? Football! Is that a yes?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well done, Shane.
Shane,
Well
that was
done.
great.
That was a terrific
Who
open.
needs Rico's voice in there? We got Kyle Crooks.
Yeah, come on. Nobody needs that.
How do you think Kyle's going to do on the road?
I don't
Is
know.
he ready for that environment?
We'll see. Maryland, I don't think is going to be terribly hostile.
Yeah, probably not.
We were talking to Johnny Holiday yesterday, and he goes, back in our heyday, we were averaging 50,000 per. I was like, wow.
That's crazy. No, they are lucky, though, because I think Maryland's that unique Big Ten atmosphere that Nebraska fans aren't probably itching to go visit.
Yeah, it's not going to be a full-on
Right.
Nebraska takeover.
Exactly.
It's also not super convenient.
Exactly,
To get to for
right.
them,
So it's kind of that. It's probably them and maybe – would you say Rutgers,
I would say
too?
Rutgers.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's like, I got to get to Piscataway.
Right. Well, and last year we saw it with Purdue that I think that there's just there's that group of Husker fans that just go, well, I mean, someone's got to do it, so we might as well go. And they just go head out. And they're West Lafayette, here we come.
It's almost like they have, when you have these like sign-up sheets for volunteers or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they like send around a calling tree, and like you probably don't remember those. But
The calling tree? Oh, yeah. No, we had that.
oh, yeah, I forgot. You guys didn't
For
get the
snow
internet
days,
in Western
man.
Nebraska for a
Snow
very
days,
long
yeah.
time.
You had the one person who called two people
Exactly.
called four. Yeah.
It was the one positive outcome of a pyramid scheme.
Oh,
was the calling tree.
Nice.
But no, it's like I wonder if Husker like season ticket holders are like, all right, you've got Purdue, Rutgers, and Maryland this year. I'm sorry, you drew the short end of the road stick.
Sorry, guys, you're heading out. I do like that though, and I was listening to our good friend Nick Baugh on his show a couple of days ago. I found it interesting when he was talking about how sometimes the road environment, people as an athlete, right, that you can kind of actually get up more for the road game than you can a home game because the home game, and he made this kind of an interesting case, and I thought it was interesting too because Nebraska obviously left a day early, that when you go on the road, you don't have class. You don't have a lot of these other things that are part of your usual routine. You just have what you're there for, right? It's your own type of business trip. You're just going out to take care of whatever business you have to handle. Then you head on back. Now, obviously, sometimes that can be a little bit different when your structured routine, how you want to do things and whatnot. But it feels like, from everything we're told, Nebraska took everything they possibly could out to Maryland.
Yeah,
the only thing you got to worry about is the game.
I'm not worried about their structured routine. I think Coach Rule and Dr. Elza in particular do an incredible job of making sure that they eliminate as many variables as possible on the road. And there's some I've heard. It's funny you bring up Nick Box. I thought you were going a different direction with the road games. He's talked before about sometimes sort of the hostile environment gets you going in a different way.
Yeah,
it's the sleepy road games that are actually kind of tricky because you have to create your own energy. You don't have the home crowd. You don't have anybody like cursing at you or anything like that from the road crowd. And so that's where I thought you were going to go, which is maybe a concern here with Maryland. I don't know what their atmosphere is like when they're 4-1,
right?
And with signature wins over Towson. Like I don't know. So why
you got to bring them down?
I'm not. No, that's that was their best margin of victory this year.
Yeah.
TK says, "How dare I forget the Terrell Newby legacy game?"
The Terrell Newby legacy game.
Yeah, incredible stuff here. So DB is out in Maryland. As you could tell, that is not DB. That's Austin.
That would be something.
Yeah, somebody said, "Hey, we got Caucasian Damon today."
Yes. Oh, I didn't like that. That was
a weird noise.
That was a weird. Where did that come from, Shane? Oh,
not a fan. So, DB will be joining us in the 8:00 hour to talk a little bit of football. Let us know. I'm dying to know if you figured out the crab cake situation.
Because that was last night, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. No, it might be today because they didn't get to their hotel until like 8 last night.
What time did they head out yesterday?
Well, so DB had to be ready to go at the airport at 12:30. I don't think they took off till 3.
Wow. And you held them late on the show.
I know. It was very selfish of me, as we discussed earlier before we got on the show. But because he, as he will very often tell you, gets labeled non-essential, non-player personnel. And so I believe he actually has to board first. And so then he gets stuck on the plane for like 2 hours while the apparently essential and player personnel get boarded. And they do like a back to front, and he always talks about he has to sit in the back of the plane. I think it's an organization issue. And so they bring it, so he ends up sitting on the plane with his broadcast crew for quite a while before they take off. But then it's,
then they're game planning, right? They're just getting everything ready.
Well, I think most of them are probably fixing DB's technology, so he's ready for the flight.
Right.
It wasn't always rainbows and butterflies.
Well, that gives him time to call Jacob Padilla to fix his tweet deck.
Yes.
So that'll be plenty of time.
And Jessica Cootie tried to give Crooks a heads up that he was going to be responsible for a lot of the technological things DB was dealing with. So he was maybe going to go out and get new headphones yesterday. So that was going to be a whole thing.
I feel like every time I want to go get headphones and it's a temporary fix, I always resort to gas station. I don't know why that is. And I'm that way with like power cords as well. Anytime I need a new power cord, I know where I can get it. It's at the gas station.
Yeah, but you're going to get the worst version that exists
100%.
of that technology.
Yes.
Like to me, that's a road trip fix only. Like if I am on the road and I forget a power cord or headphones or something like that, that's my last resort.
The only power cords, headphones, anything that's in my car readily available, all gas station purchases.
Oh,
I've never went into a different type of store to buy those because if it's in my car, I assume it's going to get stolen at some point. I don't know why that's my thought process, but I just don't want to spend a lot of money on something I'm inevitably going to lose.
You spent too much time on the mean streets of Sydney.
Oh, that is true.
I will
duck
say,
my head in every time I had to get in the car.
If you lock your doors, that the stuff gets stolen.
I do lock my car doors. Yeah.
Some people from more rural communities don't lock things.
Dr. Fiance has that problem.
Well, she's from a smaller community.
Yeah, I mean, she leaves her keys in the ignition overnight. And she's like, no big deal. And I said, we can't be doing this.
No, that's
not a good idea. Not a great plan.
That's because you learned and matured at Kearney. You're like, I can't. It's rough out here.
Well, the only reason I learned is because I found the people whose cars they would leave, and I'd be like, oh, I'm just going to move your car. It was a great prank.
I thought that was going to go a totally different.
No,
direction.
I'm not gonna admit myself to stealing.
No,
things.
I didn't think you were.
Is that what you're gonna say?
No, when people left, I think the statute of limitations has expired. When people left there,
check the date.
Yeah, 2025. Carry that. Yeah, I think 20 years out, we're okay.
Yep.
When people would leave their car unlocked in my youth,
mm-hmm.
we would do things. We would fill the car with things.
Oh, that's hilarious.
At one point we did. I mean, balloons are always funny and mostly harmless. Yeah. At one point, I was really mad at one of my RAs, and I don't remember why.
Well, because they're an RA, and that's why.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have to have a reason.
Yeah.
But I think he I don't remember why I was raking leaves. I don't know if that was like my punishment for something, but all the leaves ended up in his car.
To rake leaves at college?
Yeah, I think I was late for. Listen, when you go to a small Christian university, university is an aggressive term for what it was. It was a college, it was Nebraska Christian College. Some of the rules are a little stranger.
Yeah,
and I think I was late for curfew or something. And he was like, all right, well, your punishment is to rake leaves on campus.
Wow.
And I'm like, all right, I'll rake the leaves. You didn't tell me where to put them.
That's a great ploy. Way to get him.
And so, yeah, he had leaves in his car for, I'm going to be honest, I don't think he ever got them all out.
They never leave.
Yeah, they never leave.
Oh, wow.
As you will.
I'm mad that I didn't get that.
You should be. That's right.
That's a tough way to start the morning. That's fine. Oh, I did have do you want to hear a gross story to start the day?
Sure.
No?
Question mark?
Yeah. So
go ahead.
I always make those protein shakes or the protein whatever.
Yeah.
Thank you, smoothies. I was looking for the word. Usually I've been doing fruit with different the protein milk and then some scoop and all that good stuff in there. This morning, after unloading the dishwasher, because we were stocked full in that dishwasher, we had to load that thing up last night. Was getting the little straw out, put the straw into the shake today, and I'm trying to get some of the shake down, and I can't. I'm like, what's going on here? Is there a blockage or something? And I look into the straw, and it's blocked with all of the gunk from that was inside of the dishwasher that got put into the straw.
That's
not great. Not great. So I didn't know what to do because I've already, put the straw into my new drink of the day, and I didn't really know how to kind of evaluate it. So I just took top off and just straight guzzled it right there and just kind of handled business. I let it go. I let it ride. It was not a great start to the day.
Yeah, that's really, really gross.
I'm sorry.
I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time with that story. That's pretty disgusting.
Sorry to do that to you.
I probably would have bailed on the shake if I'm being honest with you.
I put too much work into it this morning to give up, though.
Yeah, I would have bailed on that smoothie immediately. I'm like, well, I guess the protein's not for me today.
As D-Bay would say, I made it competitive.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to have it, who will?
Nobody has to. Nobody has to.
Oh, it'll be good.
No.
It was good. I'm glad I got my protein in. I feel good. It's a football Friday. We covered softball yesterday.
I got a little sparkling protein drink today. We're giving that a go.
I got a little sparkling protein.
It's literally called sparkling, and it's literally called sparkling protein. I don't know what else you want me to call it.
No shout out, no free shout outs.
No, that's not the brand. That's just
it's just called sparkling protein.
Yeah, that's the product name.
Yeah.
No,
it's that spicy water.
I have a hard time with protein shakes now. I got burned out on them from the powerlifting years.
Well, yeah, that's because you were consuming 8,000 calories a day.
Not quite, but it was an aggressive amount.
Was
for being an amateur powerlifter that there was really no gain in it for me except ego and internal validation. So
when you came to that actual realization, though, when that day hit you,
I knew
you knew the whole time.
I knew the whole time what I was doing.
So I was gonna say there had to have been that one day where you went, oh no, what have I been doing?
No, I knew the entire time it was for my own ego. And
you were just doing it for the thrill.
Yeah, I at some point in my life decided that I needed to be able to bench 400 pounds, and so I dedicated a decade plus to figuring that out.
But it is cool though that you accomplished this goal?
I did, yeah.
405. There you go.
I got lifetime max.
And then right after that, you're like, okay.
No, right after that, my eyeball exploded and internally exploded. I mean, that's essentially what happened.
Do you have a glass eye?
No, the eye is all natural. Minus the laser and stuff they put in there.
Minus the laser.
No, yeah. So honestly, it was less than 6 months after I got 405 that my eye stuff started happening. And he's like, "Yeah, you're not allowed to do that anymore." And I was like, "Oh, cool."
So then you became a marathon runner.
No.
You're still working on that? Tennis player.
Yeah, with tennis.
Wow.
So
I thought it was pickleball.
I did do pickleball first. You're right.
I still need to play you in pickleball.
I did.
I did
about a year and a half, 2 years of pickleball, and it just made me miss playing tennis. And so I was like, all right, you know what? We're making the switch. We're going full tennis. So that's been about the last year and a half. Tennis guy.
Big
tennis guy.
Big tennis guy.
Coming up on the show today, we've got our friend Tim Verghese from Inside Nebraska at 8 o'clock. We at 8:30, as I mentioned, have DB He'll be joining us, I believe, via stream. I am a little bit concerned. Can I just tree of trust this thing real quick?
Well, they are an hour ahead.
I'm a little concerned about the technology and time change issue.
Well, he did it from Arrowhead, or he did it from Kansas City. I think
did he StreamYard from Kansas City?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's on stream.
Okay, that's my bad. I'm making bad assumptions about our guy.
But the time change, I would be worried about too.
I was a little concerned. We are going to talk to Tim JOHNK at 7:40 as well. Didn't want to forget the head football coach at Creighton Prep. They're having a great year so far this year, so we will talk to him at 7:40. And then Mike Sautter at 9 o'clock will be our final guest of the day. Talk a little high school sports. You were out at softball last night.
Yep, district final
Sounds
softball.
right.
Hung out with Mike for a minute or two.
I saw a picture of you guys. Looked like you were really enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, we really do enjoy each other's company. It's the best. I sat down next to him and he went,
That's a good sign.
Bro.
When you get the heavy sigh.
yeah, right?
We're just like, oh, that's good.
Well, my dog does that to me every time I sit down next to her as well. So I just figured, this must be like a loving thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
It didn't help too that I was walking up the stands and I go, Mike, my man, in front of all these people.
Thank you, dear baby Jesus.
No, it's great.
You just got to break the awkwardness right at the beginning.
So what softball game were you last night?
Gretna and Omaha Westview.
Oh, yeah. Gretna won.
Gretna won.
Yep, I saw that.
Won three games in one day. They had to win out.
I saw 13 Ks for the big game chain winner.
Yep, pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
They had another girl that had 6 RBI over 2 games. Pretty good.
Nice.
She had 5 and 1,
There
so
we
that
go.
was not bad at all.
Really?
I got there. I thought it was going to be a great day. It was a great day. Let me be clear, but I knew it was going to be a great day because I walked up. And as the minute I sat down, took my phone out to start recording, like, hey, I'm here. Guess where I'm at? Solo home run over the wall.
Oh, love it.
Bang.
Love it.
Not a bad way to start.
I'm here for it.
Did you watch football last night?
Yeah. So I watched mostly baseball. I had that Giants Eagles game on as well, which
Brutal.
I mean, listen.
Is something wrong? Is something wrong in Philly?
We did this last year too, where it looked like Sirianni was going to get fired at some point early in the season.
No,
I don't know if we remember that. AJ Brown's reading books on the sidelines, and him and his
he didn't have a bad game though.
Him and his quarterback are fighting each other, and they're just like, no, don't worry, we're going to win the Super Bowl. So I don't know what to do with the Eagles. I'm not going to overreact to it. I do think Jackson
back-to-back losses though.
I believe so.
Sunday,
it is their second loss. Yeah. I do think the Jackson Dart Giants are a little spicy.
You like spicy or frisky?
Either one.
I'm frisky on the Panthers at home specifically.
Yeah.
But the Giants, man. I thought they were one of the most like talent deficient rosters in the NFL when you kind of like looked at them as a whole.
Yeah, you forgot about Cam Scatterbo.
Well, not Cam Scatterbo.
How dare you forget about
Except that video of him from Sunday screaming at his assistant, like the equipment staff being like, I need gloves after his fumble. It was so funny. But good on him to have a good game yesterday. And that game got out of reach kind of in a hurry quick.
Yeah.
It was close for a while in that first half. And then the second half, I tuned away and went to Tulane.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back.
As many of us do.
Right. And I came back and I was like, what happened here?
Yeah.
It was like watching 2 completely different games by the time that the game flipped over. It was nuts.
Yeah, there were some things that got away from the Eagles there. Was watching the Yankees get eliminated.
That's always fun.
You know, condolences to some of our guys out there. Kobe's a Yankees fan. We saw DB's Dodgers advance on a truly bizarre play at the plate.
Oh,
yeah. So they had the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this was in like the 11th or 11th, yeah. And there was a little a hit back to the pitcher, and he bobbles it, but he's got plenty of time to turn, make the throw at first, and still get the guy out and get out of the inning. Instead, he tries to throw the ball home, like off balance, to try to get the force out at home, and he did not. The catcher did not think for any reason that ball was coming to him. It was a bad throw. The guy was already there. Meanwhile, the guy on the first baseline's like halfway up the first baseline. It was a tough look.
You really don't want to end the game or end your season kind of on a bad look anyway.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
tough.
that was bad. Oh, this is tough. This is my first time seeing this. Yeah, that was tough.
It was rough out there. But congrats to DB's Dodgers. Condolences to the Yankees fans out there.
Do you really feel that bad?
I'm glad the Yankees are gone.
Mm-hmm.
I do have people in my life that I like that are Yankees fans. So
Rico?
I do. No, absolutely not.
No.
I don't even know what he is. I don't know.
I don't know
what kind of fan he is.
I don't think he likes baseball, so
Yeah.
I don't think it matters. But like Matt DeMarinis is a big Yankees fan. Kobe is a Yankees fan. So, it's always tough when your season ends,
Yeah, it is.
He says, unfortunately, that's a play my Yankees would make too. So I like, he's got a sense of humor about it, but it's October baseball. It's a good time.
Oh, Kobe, Ravi bringing up the Yankees 2 days later is rent free. We're just talking. This is a sports talk show.
We're just talking sports.
It's interesting.
I like the
famously we've talked about past games from other times too, but that's okay.
No, we don't do that. Once we're 2 days out, it's
yeah, exactly. Those games don't matter anymore.
Straight to
move
jail.
forward.
I'm going to be talking about that 5-interception DJ Lagway game for the rest of the season. That just made me so happy. That's like a month ago almost at this point.
I'm glad you're having fun with that. I'm glad that you're having a good time with little DJ.
I'm having the greatest time. College football.
I just wish you weren't having fun at our expense when it comes to Arch Manning, but that's fine. The other day I did go into a deep dive. It was Wednesday. I was getting ready to go out for a high school volleyball match, and I started to just every once in a while I just want to get a peek inside of what another fan base is kind of going through. So I did look at some Texas message boards. And there was a thread. I should have sent it to you. Let me see if I can find it. It was the headliner or the top of the blog was, is Arch our best option? And everyone in the comments were like,
I love this.
It's obviously not good right now, but do we have anyone else that we can try to bring up? And it was overwhelmingly, there's no one else on this roster to help us. Everyone said, he's our best bet. We have to believe. So I like that they almost have went with like the Colt mindset where they're like, listen, he's our guy because we don't have another guy. This is all that we've got.
He may suck, but he is ours.
Meanwhile, in Lincoln, half of the fan base, not half, it's probably like
a percent.
It's a singular percentage point is like, well, TJ Lateef and a couple of running plays could be big.
How
would Texas trade for TJ Lateef right now? I think they would consider. They would ask, "What do you want?" That's what they would ask, right?
I think they would trade for him. I don't think they'd automatically make him the starter.
Right?
Obviously.
Yeah.
But if they're like, we could use a little depth here, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Arch, you want some competition? You ever met a guy younger than you? That's the wildest part about the whole thing, though, with Arch, is that he's been on campus. This is third year. Yeah. I mean, we're not talking about a true freshman.
Yeah,
we're not talking about a guy that, I mean, obviously he's had. And this is the conversation you and DB have had when it comes to, Javen Wright and a couple of other guys on the defense for Nebraska, when it's in experience in playing time and the practice reps you get.
Yeah.
There is a difference between the two. Obviously, both can help you grow as a player because you can see kind of what your flaws are. You can grow in that sort of sense. But at quarterback, he's had plenty of time, and he's learned behind a college football playoff winning quarterback as well. And he hasn't been able to process that, and he still has. I would argue this because now we are obviously like more into the season. We can make a little bit more solid assumptions. I don't know if he's improved as the season has went on.
Oh,
I think he's kind of maintained where he has been.
Yeah, I think there's been some struggles. I mean, obviously UTEP was the low point where it just was awful against a very, very bad football team. So he's better than he was that day, but I don't know that he's actually gotten better overall. And you kind of sent me down an interesting rabbit hole yesterday.
Whoops.
Because you were bringing, for some reason you were talking about Nebraska's, you called it the big three. So Barney, Emma Johnson, and Dylan Raiola.
Right.
And
so you did settle on Barney.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's the leading receiver. And
I agree with you there. I just, some others may try to
make an argument for Hunter.
Well, and that's the thing. I think you can make an argument, but where do we always go back to?
Yeah,
we always go back to Ja'Cory Barney, don't we?
Barney's my guy. And so you're like, is there a version of that? Is there a big three of that you would take over them in college football? And so I kind of started going through the list in my head, and I go, okay, well, Notre Dame's got a good running back and receiver, but I don't think I'd take CJ Carr over Dylan. And so you kind of start going down the list, and like Baylor's got an inch. Baylor's numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the running back Washington is over 550. Robertson is the only quarterback over 2,000 yards so far. and then they've Cameron, their receivers, over 450. So they're the only team total with 3 guys that are over 3,000 yards. Because what I ended up doing, because I'm a weirdo, is I went through all of the power conference teams and figured out which group of 3 guys had at least 3,000 or 2,000 yards between the 3 of them.
So you were trying to match what Nebraska has.
Yeah, so Nebraska is at 2153. Raiola is at 1331. Barney's at 348, and Emmett Johnson's at 474. So they are at 2153, if my math is right, which it may not be. But I think so. So they're at 2153. So I was like, okay, it became pretty clear I was going through this. 2,000 was about the natural breaking point. So that's where I put it. So anybody over 2,000, I compiled, put on the list here. There's 28 teams that are over 2,000. Nebraska falls right about in the middle of those in terms of total yardage. I did also throw Kansas State in here. Oh, because they're at 1953, but Dylan Edwards has missed like 3 games.
Right.
So I just put that in there as like, hey, a healthy Dylan Edwards, Kansas State maybe as an argument if you like Avery Johnson, whatever. I wouldn't make that argument, but I wanted to include them.
Right.
So that would make it 29 teams. So roughly little less than half, about 45% of power conference teams have at least 2,000 yards between 3 guys. And Nebraska finishes in the halfway point of that group of 28. But I think I landed on, there are a handful of teams I think I would take over Nebraska.
Okay.
In that group.
Can I ask just a general question about that? Do you evaluate their running back being better than Nebraska's? Is that where it starts?
I also running back and receiver.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I mean, there's a few guys that I think, hey, if you said this guy's better than Raiola, I'm probably not going to fight you.
Right.
That's not a huge list.
Yep.
The list is longer at running back and receiver.
Right. I thought it would start longer with the running back, but yeah. Okay.
Maybe. I mean, Emmett's been pretty good.
Right.
Like when you look at the numbers, I think
when you look at just his numbers,
he's been pretty good. So I don't know that that's accurate, but like USC is, and I don't love Maeva, but his numbers have been really good. But Wayman Jordan's really, really good. And then their wide receiver Lemon is phenomenal. Like he's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's more of a lime.
They made lemonade. No, he's so good. Like incredible receiver, really good with the ball in his hands after the catch. Like great at getting open. Like he's really, really good. So like I probably take USC's 3 over Nebraska, which obviously we'll see them later in the season. Notre Dame is a little compelling. I don't like Carr that much, but I do like Piezon a lot, their receiver, and obviously Jeremiah Love's really good. I'm trying to see what some of the bigger numbers were. Obviously, so USC I believe was second, although NC State was really high,
right?
With CJ Bailey, and Anderson receiving, and Smothers as their running back. Smothers is at like 693 for rushing yards already. And then Missouri's got with Hardy has the leading rusher in the country. So that's
Missouri was actually the team that brought this entire thing up because
Purbuella's really good.
Very good. And it's because I've been hearing that conversation with the Penn State quarterback trade that they're like, okay, well, if Penn State had Purbula right now, would they actually be back-to-back losses?
I think they'd be better off, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's not to say Purbula's better than Aller. I think Purbula's a better fit for what Kotelnicki leans to in his play call.
Well, and it goes to show too that Purbula knew that he was not necessarily wasting his time in Penn State, but that he could have an opportunity to go play somewhere else. And he's showing it. Right?
He wasn't going to beat out Aller this year. He felt like he was ready to start. Obviously, he was right. That's a pretty reasonable conclusion on his part.
Right. Would you put Tennessee over Nebraska?
So I looked at Tennessee. So some of this I have to look at and go, okay. Like, Baylor's interesting because I look at those guys and I go, Robertson's really good. I don't think I would take Robertson over Raiola. I get the numbers are what they are.
Yeah.
But I think you do have to kind of account for scheme and conference and things like that. Like, the Big 12 numbers are going to be a little inflated. Obviously, Baylor's are way up here. Baylor's also been in some shootouts. Their defense is really bad. So you have to consider that as part of the equation, too. Like, Dylan didn't play for 3.5 quarters. of the middle two games with Akron and Houston Christian. So it's like, okay, so his number is going to be down there. Same with Emmett. So you kind of have to take that with a little bit of grain of salt. But so Tennessee, like, I'm definitely not taking Aguilar over Raiola.
Yep,
like,
I agree there.
Full stop.
But I thought the next two with your running back receiver picks there, that makes it interesting.
Bishop and Brazel are interesting.
And Tennessee's got a couple of guys at receiver as well.
They do.
Like they're interesting when you go like the whole core.
I only took the top guy, so I was only because you said big three, so I stuck to 3.
And honestly, if you apply the same logic to what you did with Nebraska picking Ja'Cory Barney, you're probably going to take
Hunter also.
Right, exactly.
Right, so then that changes it too, because that's like I like Hunter a lot.
Right.
Illinois was interesting.
Ooh, okay. Do tell.
Illinois was interesting. They've got they're one where you've got a couple running backs where you got Beatty and then Fegan, I believe, is. And they're very close in rushing yards, but I went with Beatty because he's a little bit higher. Altmaier, I think he's a really good college quarterback. Mm-hmm. I think Dylan's got a better skill set, but if you're going to sit there and tell me like, hey, for what he's asked to do, Altmaier's a little better right now, I'm probably not going to fight you on it.
Luke's been a winner for 2 years now.
He's been a winner for 2 years. He's really good at the offense they ask him to run. Yep. That RPO game for Illinois is diabolical. Like, it's really, really hard to defend. I'm not blown away by their receivers. I think they're good. I don't think they kind of seem like, hey, they're good at doing what they're asked. They're not guys that are like, oh, that guy's going to make an incredible play. Their leading receiver is Valentine. But it's pretty even. Like, for having 1,500 yards passing, their leading receiver only has just over 300 yards. So, to me, it's a very balanced, like, offensive-minded, like, whole offensive-minded attack. Not like, hey, we have this great receiver, let's get him the ball. Like with Nick Marsh or Amari Kelly from Michigan State. Like, I would describe those guys as like, hey, those are outstanding receivers, even though their numbers don't really match up with what we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. But no, I thought it was, I thought it was really interesting. There were some teams. I looked at Ohio State.
Yeah, they're interesting too.
Because Jeremiah Smith obviously wins.
Right. And so you would take that's the part of conversation that I found the most interesting with this is that
there's some guys that you would obviously take over others.
There are like individual players that you would say, yes, I would love to have this person.
Like I take Jeremiah Love over just about everybody.
Yeah, right.
I would take Ahmad Hardy over just about everybody.
But then to say, okay, well, we have these 3 top players, then how does that work for where your team is and moving it and all that sort of stuff with 2? Ken, I think the question should be which lines would you trade with? Okay, fair. But when you look at kind of the offensive skill positions that Nebraska's had, I would make the argument that I think if you look across the Big Ten, I don't know that there's that many big 3s with your leading passer, rusher, receiver that you would trade straight up those 3 for another 3 if you're Nebraska. I think Ohio State maybe be the one because you have a definitive one receiver. Julian Sayin has been playing pretty well.
I mean, I'm not trading Riley.
No, and see, that's the other part too, is that I think Sayin's more of a product of he's playing well because of all the other talent and pieces around him.
Yeah, right. He's fine.
He also gets a short field 90% of the time too, because the defense is incredible.
Defense is unbelievable.
But on that same side too, I think it also, to me, it's a way to also say, look, all the rushing game stuff and people saying, oh, we got to pound the rock and do all that other stuff. I just wanted to give another perspective and think about it, whether or not I was trying to put my own type of spin on it. But I think it does make sense that I've said this from the beginning. I don't think Emmett's been a problem at all. I think the rushing game hasn't been a problem at all. I think that we want these accessory pieces to be pulled together. We want the sack numbers to look a lot better, obviously. But I just don't think that the issue is an Emmett Johnson problem when it comes to it. And again, the same argument can be made. Are there running backs in college football that you would trade for Emmett Johnson? Probably, right? Like if you could go 1 for 1, you would probably do that. But with the big 3 that Nebraska has right now, you feel pretty confident going the rest of the way this season with who you've got.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton of guys I would trade for any of the 3, really. Yeah. Like, I love Barney. I think he's really, really good. I think he's a dynamic playmaker. There's not a ton of guys I'm trading for Ja'Cory Barney. Emmett Johnson's the same way. Like you said, there's a handful of guys at that position that I would go, okay, yeah, I probably would take them. But I think overall, like, we don't really appreciate the year Emmett Johnson's having. He's at almost 500 yards through 5 games like that. He's having a really good year. So here are the Big Ten teams that made the list. Mm-hmm. So Nebraska, USC, Washington,
interesting,
Rutgers, and then we've got Illinois and Ohio State.
Damon Williams isn't the leading rusher for Washington too, is he?
So he might be. I did not count that.
Okay, gotcha.
I took the leading running back because we wanted 3 different guys.
Gotcha.
That's the thing that happened. So Arkansas is interesting here, and I actually split out the numbers for Taylon Green. because he is their leading rusher and their leading passer. And if you're saying, and listen, the reason I included that one is because I go, okay, the rushing is part of the quarterback play, right? So he's got 50 more yards rushing than the running back, and he's at 441, which is almost he's only 30 yards behind Emmett. He is just ahead of where Dylan is passing wise, and then they've got a receiver at almost 400 yards. So without the QB rushing yards, they're at just above what Nebraska is. They're at 2190. Nebraska's at like 2150. If you add in the quarterback rushing yards, they're in the top couple in the entire country in this kind of category. So, but I didn't include the quarterback rushing yards for anybody else. So because he was the one that stuck out to me as the leading rusher for his team, although I think they're like Pavia, I think was as well, but it was within like 10 yards. So that's an interesting conversation when you're talking about mobile quarterbacks. But most of the mobile quarterbacks we talk about, because the sack numbers kind of start evening things out, they don't end up with crazy, like Malik Washington on Saturday. On the season, he's rushed for 22 yards. He can be mobile. He's only taken off 11 times, right? Yeah. He's only actually ran the ball 11 times. So he's not a guy that you look at as statistically as a mobile quarterback, even if he can move around a little bit. Same thing with Underwood. Yes, he's had a couple big rushing games, but those numbers are tamped down by the fact that the sacks, and there were some games where he didn't take off either. So, like, there's fewer of those guys than we think for the number of mobile quarterbacks we kind of look at in college football. So that I didn't think was going to be a huge factor as I was putting this list together, especially with the guys that ended up on the list. But yeah, when I came down to it, I think the only one for sure where I was like, as a unit, I think they're probably better might have been USC. And again, I really struggle with that because I don't like Maeva that much.
Right. I'm with you too. I've not been a big Jane Maeva guy either, but I don't know. It was an interesting exercise. I'm glad you went down the rabbit hole of it. Especially.
I did. But I couldn't believe it was really funny that Rutgers made the list because that's not how we think of Rutgers.
Right. Yeah.
But they've actually scored a lot this year, and Cadillac Manis has played well. And so it is kind of funny to be like, oh yeah, Rutgers is here.
Well, and so I'm interested too because I'm glad you broke this down as well as you did. But like Texas Tech, I thought would be higher up in that yardage list as well.
So they're pretty high. Actually, they're not. Yeah, they barely made the list.
I was surprised to see NC State on there. I didn't realize that they were just an offensive yardage juggernaut.
So at this point in the season, a lot of some of these outlier teams that we don't think would make it, it's because of the types of games they've played.
Right.
Okay. Where their starters have had to be in for longer. So that was the one thing I noticed. I was like, there's some weird ones in here. But a lot of them are teams that have had to play starters entire games. Through 5, where Nebraska has not had that issue at all.
Very interesting. Thanks for doing that deep dive for me.
Yeah,
I mean, you did all the stats for me. I just went to go, oh yeah, no, you're right.
So at some point, I'll see. I set this to Rico way too late for him to come up with a graphic. But at some point, maybe we'll put it all together and tweet it out as like
well, and we'll have another week to be able to catch up with it, right? And then I'm sure DB will probably be pro Big Red, but nonetheless, it'll be interesting to see, especially as we get further into conference play, what that looks like and how it keeps going down.
Absolutely. That is Austin. I'm Ravi. We are going to be joined by Tim JOHNK, the Creighton Prep head football coach, here in just a minute on Hurrdat Sports Live.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
I think it's, everybody, at least on the starting offensive line, we've all played road games before, so, we know what we're walking into. And it's just comes down to getting those younger guys kind of, ready to go, get used to being on the road, get used to traveling. It's good that we already had the road game in KC, but, the game itself felt more like a home game. So, it might take just a little bit of extra prep for some of those young guys to get ready for it, but we should be good to go. Yeah, personally, I like it. Sometimes, especially on those longer travel trips, it feels like, you get there, plane lands, and it's just right into the next thing up until kickoff. And so, getting there a day early, I think it'll be a good time for us to kind of, just get our legs back after the flight, take a deep breath, just relax going into game time.
Our team is pretty focused on our side of the court, and I think that's very, very hard to do, especially throughout a season. Is we're not riding the emotional highs and lows of our opponents, or like riding what they're doing, or getting frustrated about what the opponent's doing. We're really being accountable with ourselves, and I think that's been the thing that's made it easiest to stay consistent with our play. Yeah, she's just. Again, I think with a deep team too, that helps because she's, really wants to keep her spot, and she knows that those spots, the starting spots, are pretty fragile. But she's just giving to the team and doing what she can to help us win. And what's really huge is when our upperclassmen show so much confidence in her. For example, we were down 2-0 and against Penn State, and she gets the first ball or the first good pass or dig. I don't remember if it was pass or dig, but we set her out of the back row and she crushes it. I felt like that set the tone for the whole game, that we're going to use everybody and we're not scared and we're confident in our whole team.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live. It's the Friday Coaches Corner.
This is a process that we're going through. And although we're looking for the winning edge, shortcuts aren't one of them.
Hello? This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game.
Can you believe they called that play?
I formation, quick 141.
94. Fullback banana, hot right.
Round left, wide, nasty, 16 lead pass.
Just what were those coaches thinking?
They are who we thought they were. We let them off the hook.
On the Friday Coaches Corner.
Hey, the spot! He's up here, sir.
You misplaced the line of scrimmage, you bunch of dummies.
It's the Friday Coaches Corner.
Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Live. That's awesome. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by the head coach of Creighton Prep football, Tim JOHNK. Coach, how are we doing this morning?
Doing great, guys. Yeah, thanks a lot for having me on.
Absolutely, Coach.
Coach, appreciate it. Big one tonight, almost a revenge matchup as you're getting ready. How do you get the guys ready for a game like this with kind of the way your season's been going, and obviously don't want to slip up against a team at all when you get this late into October, but you got a big one next week, and you got to keep the guys focused before you get to Westside too.
Yeah, this group has been, really, really focused every week. We had a big win last week against Central, and we have another, big rivalry game next week with Westside. And so we talked a lot about that this week. I mean, the nice thing is they did get us last year, and so that has gotten our guys' attention for sure. And we've prepared really well. Again, this team has just been really focused, really all season long.
Coach, after the 6-0 start, obviously, it seemed like before the season, people really weren't sure what to make of your team. As you came into the season, obviously, I'm sure you had some things that maybe you wish you could improve on, but what did you think of this team heading into the year? You think they had a chance to be pretty good?
Yeah, we did, because we had a lot of we had a lot of returning parts. We had a lot of returning big kids that we had kind of taken our lumps with. Our senior linemen have played a lot for us since they were sophomores, and we knew we were going to probably take our lumps with them for a little while, and we did that the last couple of years. But we have a lot of returning pieces. We felt like after the playoff loss last year against Elkhorn South, when we got beat 14-7, we played one of our better football games of the year. And but it was after that our seniors, going to be seniors, really got together and said, you know what, this is going to be different. And their leadership on this team has been unmatched to really a lot of teams and many teams that I've coached as a head coach in 25 years. And so a lot of where we're at is their leadership and getting everybody on board, and super proud of that group because they did take their bumps a little bit the last couple of years, and I think we just have we're a really tight knit group. The guys really love each other, and nobody really cares who gets the glory. They just want to win.
Coach, it's funny you bring that up, because I was, as we were preparing for this interview, I was thinking about that group that you were talking about, those seniors. And I remembered back to week 0 2 years ago against Bellevue West. And that was a really talented Bellevue West team that you guys played at Bellevue West.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, and I remember, because I was sitting behind your guys' sideline, I remember thinking, as a lot of people didn't think you'd be in that game. And that was a pretty highly contested game, if I remember correctly. And I remember thinking, man, they're doing this with, if I remember, not just sophomores, but some freshmen in there as well. And I go, man, they are this in a couple of years, this team is going to be really, really good. And obviously 6-0 now, it's easy to be like, it's in hindsight to say that, but I do remember at the time being like, man, for how young they are, this is a good football team.
Yeah. And the nice thing about it is, I mean, our senior leadership is, obviously those guys they learned a lot over the last few years, and not only just physically, but just, how to lead. How to be a leader in a position group if you're not a captain. I mean, a lot of different things like that we have, this group has taken notes on. But we're really talented. Our juniors and our sophomore classes are really talented as well. And so the mixture of the 3 grades together, because we're starting several sophomores on defense. We play quite a few sophomores on offense. And so, so the 3 grades together have really been something that we thought we were going to have, and it's kind of proven out right now.
Coach, as you kind of go back through where your season has been through 6 games so far, and looking back at just the scores, and especially that big game last week against Omaha Central, it's really felt like your team has controlled the pace of play every single contest you played so far. Is that something that you guys pride yourselves in, and you try to make sure that you not only own the line of scrimmage, you're kind of controlling the tempo on offense, but that the game is kind of going in the flow in which you want it to go?
Yeah, I think any head coach would say that I mean, you want to try to control the tempo of the game, right? I mean, whatever your strength is. I mean, our defense is I think, exceptional. I think we're playing at an extremely high level on the defensive side of the ball. I think our special teams are exceptional. If you look at how many times we've scored and how we've controlled field position from special teams, we spend a lot of time on special teams, and that's kind of, again, it's showing its face right now a little bit on how much time we are putting into that level of the game, and offensively, we're a run-based offense. We want to control the clock. We want to try to keep the ball away from offenses, and we've been able to do that. So yeah, I think it's playing into kind of how we talk to our guys about how we want to control the game, from the get-go.
Coach, you've played a lot of different types of games this season, from a shootout to start the season with the Smet Jesuit. Then you got a 14-7 grinder against Millard South a few weeks ago. How much do you think that benefits your team to have experience playing in lots of different styles of games, just in case that your ability to dictate what type of game it is doesn't quite go to plan?
Yeah, no, I think we played some really good teams that have a lot of different, they play a lot of different types of football, right? I mean, from power football to spread to, some defenses are a little more pressure. Some are going to play a little more sound in terms of playing base defense. And so we have, and that's going to benefit us as we get obviously later into our season here, the last third of our regular season, and definitely as we get into the playoffs, because there are a lot of different styles out there.
You're playing a Fremont team tonight that got you last year, and talked about it there at the Open as well. But I'm sure that's a key memory marker for your team as they matured, got ready for this season as well. How do you make sure the team doesn't get to ride that emotional high and just try to get back just to playing football, do your job, and kind of handle business today?
Yeah, it's all about our preparation. I mean, after the game last Friday night, I told our guys, I said, I want to celebrate our win. I think you should celebrate it. You should celebrate every time you come out and are victorious and you play well. But I said on Monday morning, I said, when we come in and we lift on Monday mornings before school, I said, we have to turn the page and we have to move on to the next game. And so they've been really good about that, been really good about their preparation. Our practices this week have been as good as we've had any week in terms of preparation for Fremont. And in the fact that, that we did not play well last year, and they kind of stuck it to us last year in Fremont. That is something that they have brought up and talked about. So I'd be surprised if we don't come out and play really well again tonight, just because of how focused this team is, and really, they're on a little bit of a mission in terms of kind of doing some redoing some wrongs from our 4-game losing streak last year.
Coach, as if I gave you some truth serum and asked you this question, I just want you to pretend that that's a thing that happened.
Okay. All right. I can do that.
All right. So with your 2/3 of the way through your regular season, I'm sure there's some things that you've been really pleased with that have been improved upon from the start of the year until now. If there was something that you're like, man, here's what I'd really like to shore up or see improve a little bit before the end of the regular season, what would that be?
Well, I think I think offensively, I think we need to throw the ball a little more efficiently, just because we're going to need to be able to do that. And it's not that we haven't thrown the ball this year. We have, and we've completed, 50, 60%, but I think we need a little bit more efficient in that area. And that will help, take a little pressure off of Angelo Walker, and Jake Carney, who are our running backs, and because those guys are our primary ball carriers, and they've had great seasons for us, but especially Angelo. And but I think at the end of the day, I think if we look at everything that we've done and something we need to get better at, it's probably just being a little more efficient in the passing game.
Coach, I'm glad you bring up Angelo, because he's such a bell cow for you guys, and I there's no way to probably justify the stat. I think your team probably leads the state in time of possession, and Angelo probably leads in just personal time of possession himself from how many times he totes the rock for you guys. What makes him such a not only dynamic playmaker, but someone that you trust to keep giving the ball to, especially when you need him in those big game situations?
Well, he's as tough as they come, and I mean that. I mean, tough mentally and tough physically as they come. I mean, he fantastic young man who's worked hard. He and I have a great relationship, and he is a kid that, coming into the season that we knew was going to be a guy that was going to carry the rock for us. But his toughness, he's a tough South Omaha kid, and I love that about him. I love the fact that we know what we're going to get when we give him the ball. But I'll tell you where he's been really, really good for us, and that's at linebacker. I'm telling you, he's an exceptional outside linebacker, and this is really the first year that he's been able to display that. But he's been a difference maker for us on that side of the ball as well. So trying to keep him fresh and not beat the heck out of him on both sides of the ball is really something that we've got to try to continue to manage as we get into the playoffs.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Best of luck the rest of your season, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. Go Prep.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Coach.
That is head coach of the Creighton Prep football team, Tim JOHNK. Good stuff there from Coach.
We're getting into a really, really, really good part of the high school football season.
I know.
Here.
I'll be honest. The Prep Westside game next week, I'm looking forward to.
It's gonna be a big one.
I think I'm gonna go out. I think I'm actually gonna go out to Elkhorn South Westside tonight, because that's also a really good one.
We'll talk to Mike obviously at 9, but that's his game of the week.
Yeah.
So he'll be there. I will be at Elkhorn North Scott.
Oh, that's another good one.
Yeah, that one's at Scott, I believe, as well. So
the Class B end of season schedule is bonkers.
It's absolutely bonkers. And you got
because the district, one district is so loaded.
It's like 5 teams, 4 of them. I think 3 of them are in the top 10. 4 of them will make postseason.
It's Bennington, Scott, Elkhorn North, and is it Norris?
And I think Blair's stuck in there too. Poor Blair. And Blair's very competitive. They have done a great job, but like when you're facing the top dogs every single week, I mean that just gets tough.
It's like getting stuck in the SEC East SEC West 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh, so I have to face
Let me
Alabama,
just get my head beat in every single week.
And Georgia and LSU and Ole Miss is like, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
And nobody cares.
But I'll tell you what, I mean, Creighton Prep, almost a happy surprise, right? It's one of those that they're such a fun team to be able to watch too. And listen, if you and your grandpa want to go out and watch a game this weekend and he's a big pound the rock guy, there's no team better than Creighton Prep to do that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've only seen them.
And also short game. So if you're just like, hey, I got an hour and a half to go watch a football game, Creighton Prep's the game to go to.
I have exactly 100 minutes to watch a football game. No, I think I've only seen them on TV this year, so I'll be excited to see them next week when I can see them live against Westside there, so that'll be fun. But no, I'm not a prep guy, obviously, but it feels better having prep be good at football.
Yeah.
Like there is a part of me when they've struggled kind of in times in the past 5-10 years where it felt a little like, what do you mean prep's not very good? Like, what do you mean this isn't going to be a good game? Like that, it always felt a little unnatural.
Yeah.
I was like, no, but it's prep. Prep needs to be competitive.
So I wanted to say that, but I was going to say almost like in the college football term, everyone's like, oh, college football is better when Miami or Nebraska or whatever's better. Football in Nebraska feels a lot better when Creighton Prep is playing pretty well.
I agree.
It's just something about the logo, the jersey, all that good stuff.
Well, yeah,
right?
I mean, they're we're very traditional power. We talked about it on our special edition of Prep's post game.
Yeah.
With kind of the different runs of dominance teams have had that we were getting into. I think it's good that Prep is back on the map as a high school football team.
Got to get through this week though. Big game. The next week, bigger game.
I mean, honestly, losing to them last year, probably not looking ahead tonight.
Yeah,
that helps this team out a lot. So we appreciate Coach JOHNK talking to us. We also appreciate it when you wear your seatbelt. It prevents injuries and saves lives, but only if worn properly. Make it click. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Get that seatbelt on, Austin. There we go. Thanks. Coming up next, Tim Verghese from Inside Nebraska here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
Well, it's something that I feel like is something to say is that like everyone circles Nebraska on their calendar when they play us, and like every game that we play like on the road will be circled in everyone else's calendars. And I feel like learning that something that Jalen has told me recently is that like we're here to make great plays, but the great players are the ones that are consistent, the ones that are able to do this for a long period of time. I mean, we're playing, this is like so much longer than any of our high school or club seasons, like, and it's grueling and it's an everyday grind. We're practicing every day opposed to 2 to 3 times a week, and we have school and a social life and just trying to balance just being an 18 and 19-year-old girls. And so I feel like just learning to every day is a new day to get better and finding ways that we can improve our game in any way that we can. Obviously, I think our play this weekend has been great, and I think it was so fun, but we can always get better from that.
Yeah, it really shows what team that, like, what we could be like. It shows how we just don't give up, and just how we can just flip a bad situation to a good, you know. And we really needed that, and it shows that we can just, if we keep just playing how we're playing when we get our good snaps and bad snaps, it's just, we just got to focus on what's next. And I say we've been doing what we've been doing, and just playing good football, and we really need that. That's how I just play. Like I like getting the ball, and when the ball's in my hands, I don't like going down or getting tackled, and I always make the first dude miss. So like Dana, he knows how to get me the ball, and when he gave me the ball on that play and I made that touchdown, it just shows what I can do with the ball. So like, yeah, I feel like I was like the man to get the ball to and make the play, and that's what I'm here to do.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Special teams does two things. It develops guys with game reps, and as they start making plays with that, the game doesn't become quite as big, and so then their roles and your comfort with them and their roles goes up in other areas. And then number two, with the way that we're playing special teams and the things that we're trying to do, and taking some chances and trying to be explosive, guys are not just playing special teams; they're causing you to win. I mean, if you're out there on punt return right now, hey, go block a punt and change the game. If you're on a field goal, hey, go block a field goal and change the game. And so it's not like, hey, I'm going to go play special teams because coach wants me to play special teams. It's I'm going to go affect winning, and that's a cool mindset to have.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's awesome. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. DB is out in Maryland, getting ready to call the game for Nebraska tomorrow. He'll join us after Tim here to check in on how those crab cakes are doing. But right now it's time for Tim Verghese from inside Nebraska. Tim, how are we doing this morning?
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Hey, Tim, have you had crab cakes before?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
They're solid. I'm a fan, but I mean, I think there's better. I'm a baked goods connoisseur. I'm a bread guy. There's better baked goods out there.
Are crab cakes baked goods?
I mean, I don't know if you count them that. I guess that's fair. I mean,
yeah,
they're like the meatloaf of the sea.
Well, it's one of those. It's one of those bad like Midwest things, right? Like we just like, how many carbs can we put in this thing? We were just stuffing that thing with bread. With crab cakes, I think are meant to be crab.
Yeah, that is my big gripe with many of the crab cakes in the area is they're way too bread forward.
Yeah, fair.
What are Tim's top 3 baked goods?
I'm a big fan of a really good donut. Olson's Bake Shop here around in Omaha, big fan. Just a good donut. And then personally, I think it's what you specialize in. Like I go to a place and I'm like, hey, what do you specialize in? Are you a cakes? Like if you're a cakes bakery, I'll get a cake. Like if you do a tiramisu really well, I'm getting a tiramisu. But from there, it's like I'm a muffin guy. I'm a turnover guy. I
do love a good turnover.
Guy.
Good turnover, incredible.
Good turnover. Oh yeah. Whew.
I've turned into a croissant.
I was going to say, are you a croissant guy? Because good croissant.
Big croissant guy. Yeah. No, I grew up like croissant. Like you know at Costco, like the big things of croissants.
Yes.
Like growing up, my family would just get one of those, and then that'd be like, "Hey, Breck, just grab before you go." Like that's part of Breck. Like
industrial size croissants.
a very Parisian style breakfast in the Verghese family. Just grab a croissant on your way out. A little cappuccino.
We've got the traditional yogurt with no flavor, some honey on the side. You can have whatever you want. It'll be perfect. Loose meats and cheeses hanging around the Verghese home. That'll be fun. Right?
Good croissants are elite. They're hard to beat.
Tim, are you going out to any high school games today?
No, I am. I'm on wedding duty this weekend. I am. So I am out. I am out of commission this weekend. So.
Oh man. Are you a big wedding guy? Do you enjoy a nice wedding?
I do, but no. I mean, this one is not up to me. My girlfriend's the maid of honor, so this has been on the calendar for like 6+ months of like, hey, you are not working this weekend. And I was like, I'm not working this weekend.
So was this one of those that you had to tell early? Because I've had to do this before as well, where that gets put on your calendar and she keeps telling you, hey, this is off, right? You know this is off. And you keep telling her, yeah, no problem. But then you keep looking at it, you're like, I mean, it is kind of Maryland's 4-1. Like,
that, like, it's been that, like, the closer we get to the year, and then, like, because I was I knew this was going to be the Maryland game, and then I was waiting to see back in, like, December, like, when this was, like, starting to get on our radar, I was waiting to see, you know, is Malik going to sign? And then Malik signed, and then Malik won the starting job, and I'm like, oh boy, okay, well, I'm just going to have to miss the game of like this like quarterback that I've been riding for forever, and I've been pretty early on, and I feel pretty good about being like, and like he's going to be 4-1, and Nebraska's going to play him, and I'm just not going to see it, but I'll watch it. I'll have you know me.
I'll say
I'm gonna tweet it.
You'll grind the tape later.
I'm gonna tweet it to him the entire game. Like, you'll believe what Malik did.
So Tim, I do want to talk about Malik Washington because, like you said, you're pretty early on him in terms of his recruitment and what you thought about him. So I've kind of been having this conversation with people all week about who he is as a quarterback now versus his talent level and his ceiling for his career. So I want you to talk to me about what he was, what he is as a prospect. I mean, only 5 games in, still kind of a prospect in my mind. What he is as a prospect versus some of the other guys Nebraska's seen this year in terms of where he's currently at in his career. Because I made the argument, not to lead you down a certain path or anything, but I made the argument that at this point, I think Childs is probably a better quarterback, but maybe Washington has a higher ceiling. Talk to me about what he is now versus what you project him to be sort of down the line.
Yeah, I think of the quarterbacks Nebraska's faced, I think Washington has the second highest ceiling, and it's only behind Bryce, who, in terms of ceiling in the modern day quarterback prospect, I mean, Bryce is as high as it gets ceiling wise.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're getting with Malik and what we've seen from Malik early on, I've been pleasantly surprised with the confidence he's delivered with, and they've done a good job of surrounding him with weapons he trusts, and giving him just at least that floor of, hey, this. Like, honestly, I'll say this: I think Maryland's done a better job of giving him weapons to support him than Michigan has. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you know, there's been more drops on Michigan's end. I don't think there's like a trust there with guys. You're seeing, you know, freshmen being thrown into action with Maryland. They've got 3, you know, kind of established receivers that he trusts right now, 3-4 guys he trusts right now. So I'm going to be like really watching that, really seeing where his confidence is at against Nebraska's pass D. I think it's going to be a really good test for him. But where he's at this point, there's going to be bumps and bruises. I really think Saturday there's going to be like a pick, or he's going to make a reckless throw or a reckless decision or two that could potentially cost Maryland the game. But I don't think it ultimately, you know, says anything about his long-term development. It's just kind of where he's at in his career. Like, he is still kind of the guy that's trying to make the play, that's trying to put the offense over the top. And he is still like trying to elevate the offense, which I give him credit for, and I think he's doing a good job of that. He in high school, something I've started to notice as now that I've kind of been able to like zoom out and see this over the course of a while, like I think this is similar with Cade Klubnik, a little bit, Garrett Nussmeier, and you're starting to see early on with Malik where the high school, Dylan honestly too, where the high school development kind of matches what the college development is, where year one with Malik so far, we are seeing some flashes, we are seeing some of this, and this is what it felt like pretty early on for him too. He did take over as a starter pretty early on at Archbishop Spalding, and he's a guy that you know, I think early on you could see there's a confidence level there. There's a natural draw. That was something that was big for me when I was just kind of like asking around about guys, because it was just one of those things where he kept popping up at these quarterback camps and just these camps in general, and guys were rallying to him. It's like all these other elite quarterbacks were there, and guys were like, no, I want to throw it Malik. I want to catch passes from Malik. And I specifically remember an anecdote from the Elite 11. It was the Elite 11 regional in New Jersey last year, where it's pre-game or it's pre-camp. It's pouring, and Bryce was there because this was the only camp Bryce could make. And then Missouri's quarterback, who they took last year out of the Northeast, was there. I'll forget his name off the top of my head, but he was there. And then it was Malik, and those were the 3 like real headliners of the camp. And you know, you can see Bryce like you saw, you know, Bryce in the background, like throwing back and forth, like really trying to get comfortable with the ball in wet conditions. A couple of the quarterbacks, and then Malik's just kind of like he's kind of just jogging around, like talking to guys, like, and just kind of just like loosely warming up. And rain's coming down. They really get into the event, and he's just casually ripping it. And guys are slowly but surely like turning from the other quarterbacks and being like, no, I want to catch passes from Malik. And hearing that, and then like going back and watching the tape of that, he's incredible. Like, he's going to be really, really good in 2-3 years. And already right now you're seeing some of the flashes of that on tape, like the confidence he's able to deliver downfield with. He's a more precise, I think, downfield thrower right now than Childs and even Underwood are at this point.
Tim, when you are looking at, you said second highest upside of anybody Nebraska's faced, where would you put him right now as a quarterback in terms of the quarterbacks Nebraska's faced?
I think he is probably fourth just because of what we did end up seeing from Childs. I think as prospects, I prefer Washington a little more, but the Childs we got on, like, Childs played, like he did everything he could as a, and in terms of like the dual threat element of it and trying to pressure Nebraska downfield. I think right now he's probably fourth of, Bryce. I mean, Sorsby is legit up there, right? Just in terms of what he is right now.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, right. So, I think he's fourth right now, and that's, I think, part of this too is, like, at the same time, I think there's been this all week of, oh, they got Malik, they're 4-1, they have Sidney Stewart, they have Zahir Mathis. I think overall, looking at this team through this week, they're not overall. I mean, even with Malik, like, I don't think they're better than Michigan State. I think they have better top end talent, and I think specifically on at splash positions, which are kind of the positions that matter, they are better, but. I think overall Nebraska is the more complete team.
All right, Tim. So from what you've seen in two Big Ten games so far from Malik Washington, when it comes to how he played against Wisconsin, then how he played against Washington, and then lining up to get ready for Nebraska, what can Nebraska do similar that got under his skin, that forced that interception, that kind of got him uncomfortable, especially in that second half, comparative to what we saw from Malik when he was performing very well against Wisconsin defense that I don't think is up to snuff with the rest of the Big Ten. But do you think Nebraska is closer to that Washington standard, or are they above that? Is there something similar that you see there?
Oh, I mean, they're close. I mean, just they're the number one pass defense in the country, and at this point, we have enough proof to be like to say that, and it's not just, again, they're not just number one; they are by a good margin. So, when you look at what like this weekend, I think it's just play your game, like get after them up front. Stake and play and make it tough for him to find open windows to throw to, because he is the kind of guy at this point in his development where he's going to force throws. He's going to want to. They can't really run the ball. They are going to kind of lean on him. There's going to be opportunities to bait him into mistakes. As a young quarterback, the goal for Nebraska is just to kind of rattle him and get him to that point. They did that with Childs last week, who's not a young quarterback, but I think. Just follow that formula. I play pass defense. They don't need to complicate it. I don't think there needs to be anything complicated to get under Malik Washington's skin, just at this point in his development. But if you get after him, I think if Williams takes a nice step up, I thought Keona had a pretty unsung day, and obviously I think McCullough's coming along, but those three guys keep doing what they're doing, and in the back end, they continue to hold up. I feel pretty good about Nebraska's chances of just forcing a mistake or two in the second half.
So, Tim, I want to follow up on what you just said there about like keeping it simple, kind of doing what you do. If John Butler wants to make this more complicated for Malik Washington, do you think that forces more mistakes, or does that give him a chance to maybe take advantage of some things with Nebraska if they don't want to play straight up? Do you see it as more Nebraska's Jimmys and Joes are just better and they can just play straight and just be able to handle that? Or is there a chance that Nebraska can get really tricky with it and force some of those bigger opportunity plays?
I think in general, so when I say keep it simple, I think it's just like literally just keep doing what you're doing. No, I don't think it's keep it simple as in like you need to dumb down the defense or anything, or need to just like kind of just play base or anything. Like, no, I think Butler's done a good job of mixing it up, changing up the look, confusing the front. Again, more of that. Like, again, I don't know, like for Malik specifically, I do think he is a good leader, and I do think he's got a very he's further along mentally as a quarterback. than most, but he is still a young quarterback. He hasn't seen all that many looks. We saw with Dylan last year, where by midseason you have an idea of what looks confuse him and what looks give him trouble. John Butler's better to speak on that than I am, but I think there is stuff on tape that I think Butler can replicate, and I think just in general, I think there's looks Nebraska can give with the personnel they have. I mean, you talk Jimmys and Joes, they have bodies, Javen Wright, Deshaun Singleton. You have bigger outside corners too. You have bodies that can control space and stick in one-on-one coverage. Where you can dial it up and you can make the picture crowded for him. You can kind of send some pressure after him and trust your guys to hold up in space, because you have the Jimmys and Joes, and you also have the size and the experience to know that, hey, Javen's going to be able to cover ground quickly. Deshaun's going to be able to cover ground quickly. That frees you up as a defense to be able to do some things up front and kind of send some pressure, because you have two bigger bodies covering a lot of space.
All right, Tim, we've talked a lot about Malik Washington. That's one of the things that I think has Nebraska fans a little bit concerned. The other is certainly the pass rush. You mentioned Stewart on the outside, who gets a lot of the headlines. What is your level of concern about Nebraska being able to handle the pass rush of Maryland? As you said, their high-end talent's really good. Behind that leaves some things to be desired. How much do you think Nebraska can get past that pass rush enough to get to that talent that's maybe not as good?
Yeah, I weirdly think this game comes at a solid point for like this offense in general, to just be like, okay, you've gotten 2 weeks now to be pressured and figure out how to run an offense and get past getting pressured. And so, yeah, I mean, I think going into this, I've kind of already, I think Sydney's going to get at Dylan once. They're going to get up at least two sacks. Like, there's going to be that on Saturday. They've done this every game at this point. From there, what I'm looking for is, okay, we've seen, against Michigan, it wasn't really there, but against Michigan State, it was. There's a pocket for Dylan to climb into that he sometimes isn't doing it. There are times where Dylan could deliver the ball a little faster. I think Dana, owned some of that too, of a play call. I think in general, this offensive staff and this offense in general through these last 3 weeks, including the bye, has gotten an idea of how they want to react to pressure, how they want to kind of adjust when they have to throw hot and when they have to move hot. And I would hope, my hope is that they have some better answers on Saturday against a front that is going to look to pressure them off. And what I'm looking for from Dylan is a little more composure and okay, like, don't get rattled just because, Sydney's in your face. I think progress through reads quicker. Something I thought was a little, just like something in retrospect, looking back at the Maryland game, is time to throw drop when he was under pressure, and that's not in a bad way. Like, I don't think that's, I think that's something that actually needs to speed up, of course. And so I'm looking for just improvement in that aspect, stepping up into pockets. I think the interior of Nebraska's line is going to be able to hold up. And honestly, like, I do think more often than not, like last week, I was pretty harsh on the O-line in the immediate aftermath of the game. And then after one rewatch, I was like, okay, I was already too harsh. And then we listened to Dana Holgerson talk and I rewatched again. And I was like, I was really harsh. And so now that we've gotten, like a full week from the game, like, if the offense can stay on schedule better than they did last week, I don't think, and that's not on the O-line. If the offense can stay on schedule and kind of move the change and make things easier for themselves, I don't think it will come down to the O-line like it did at times last week.
Tim, have you noticed at all, this is anecdotal, I haven't charted this the way I did kind of the time to throw, but have you noticed at all a difference between Dylan in shotgun versus under center in his ability to get the ball out quickly? Because it seems like, to me, anecdotally, that when he's in shotgun, he's much, much better at just getting that ball out, whether it's the wide receiver screens to Isaiah Hunter or finding somebody quickly. Do you think that's something they may cater to a little bit more if that's the case?
I need to go back and watch, because anecdotally, just in from what as far as I can remember, I feel like most everything under center has also been more long developing concepts too, which is part of it.
Yeah.
Where with shotgun he does have like something quick to get to, but yeah, I mean there's part of that too. I think he does kind of see it better at shotgun from the shotgun right now. I think him having a more traditional like shotgun drawback is something that I just think the eyes are clear there. But yeah, I think I need to go back and watch to confirm that though.
Tim, when you look at the two teams obviously matching up here, what's the biggest talent discrepancy on what you'll see sides of the field like playing against each other? So Nebraska's receivers against Maryland's D-backs, that sort of thing. Is there one position versus position group that you see as a huge advantage for Nebraska?
I don't think it's a huge advantage, but I do think Nebraska's receivers against Maryland's DBs, just because of what I think about Nebraska's receivers right now. I think the play of I noted it in my like more three Huskers I want to see more from story, but like I think Saturday is kind of a breakout opportunity for Dane, just because he's probably going to get a favorable one-on-one matchup, maybe for the first time in a couple of years. Like, I think defenses, through what they've seen from this first month, are going to be a little more keyed in on Barney, a little more keyed in on Isaiah. You're getting to the point where Nebraska's offense, which I don't remember the last time it's been like this, but you are kind of in pick your poison territory as a defense, where you kind of have to pick who you shade, who you kind of lean towards, because one of those guys is going to get open, and you are against a Maryland, specifically this Maryland defense. You're going to be able to find a matchup you can exploit. You just need to figure out how Maryland chooses to match up on you, how they choose to kind of adjust to personnel. But I think it's an opportunity for Dane, one of those three. I think one of those three is going to just get favorable matchups throughout the day, where Dylan's going to be able to exploit it, and the offense is going to be able to exploit. And come late, I think that's going to be big for Nebraska.
Tim, as you kind of looked at Maryland and say, hey, this is a team that hasn't really shown any willingness at all to run the football, even when they're up 3 scores in the fourth quarter, and probably should try and salt that thing away. Do you think we're going to see any departure from that with considering what Nebraska's pass defense is, or you think they're just going to be like, hey, this is what we do, and we're going to see if we can beat them?
I mean, I'm sure they'll try, but like, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's anything to be encouraged. I mean, my bold prediction for the game is I think Nebraska's going to hold them under 65 rushing yards, which they've only done once. But and again, I don't know how much of that's going to be like, oh, look at Nebraska's run D. Like, it would be good for them to do that, but I don't think it's much to write home about, just because that's how poorly I think of kind of Michigan's run offense. But no, I don't know. Like, I'm sure they'll try. I don't see anything where I'm like, okay, I'm really concerned about, like, are they breaking one? They're not. Like, I don't think so. Like, I mean, like, if anything, and I do want to say this too, because I heard some of y'all's discussion earlier this week, and y'all mentioned it a little bit, but I kind of just wanted, like, we saw it against Michigan State. We saw it against Cincinnati towards the end of that game as well. If your defense is playing to the point where the only thing that's really working for the offense is the QB run, you take that more than not. And I think John Butler has made that, like, against Michigan State. I think that's what that came. Like, they took away everything else for the most part, but the QB run. And I think that Cincinnati second half, like, you started to see that a little bit as well, where it was like, okay, Sorsby scrambling is really the only thing that's, like, really working for these guys. And I think that's a testament of a good defense. And I also think, but that's where tomorrow, yeah, I mean, if they're going to find any success again on the run, it's going to be Nebraska has everything so bottled up. Malik's just going to take off and go and really do it for the first time in his career, because he's capable of doing it. He just hasn't had to do it, or hasn't done it all that much to this point.
Oh, so yeah, he's only got the 11 carries recorded 5 games so far. So it's not something, despite his abilities, that he's really.
And he's like different. Like, he's not a power, like, he's a big physical body that's tough to bring down, but he's not like a power runner like Sorsby. He's not the athlete in space that Bryce Underwood is. He's not shifty like Childs, like, or he's not like elusive like Child. Like, he is just kind of just like a big body that can glide, and it is kind of like, it's not Cam, but like, there is kind of some of that where it's like, okay, like, he just covers ground quick, where, like, if you don't account for him, he'll pick up, like, 10 to 15 in a hurry.
Is that kind of like that the Blaine Gabbert style, where he's just kind of the strider and just has kind of the ability?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, Gabbert. Yeah.
So in that sense, though, when he's standing in the pocket, does that present a new challenge for the defensive ends to be able to bring him down if he is that different type of body type?
Yeah, but I mean, I think Nebraska's capable. I mean, they're big. Deshaun's big. Williams is big. Like, I don't think it's and they've had an experience. They've had an opportunity. Like I think, like, having seen Sorsby and having seen Underwood before has better prepared them for this, because they've seen what these bigger quarterbacks look like and how tough they are to break down. And honestly, at this point, I just kind of trust Nebraska's, like, ends to be able to. It's not about like for them. It's about getting home for sure. But like at this point, I think Williams and Deshaun are doing a good enough job of making these guys feel pressure more often than not. That even if it's not recorded as pressure, I think they're doing a good job of that. That they're going to have opportunities on Saturday.
Tim, real quick here before we let you go. I know there's a little bit, we've been talking a ton about 2027, 2028. There's a little bit of 2026 recruiting buzz left on the table there. What work do you think Nebraska still got to do here in the 2026 class?
Yeah, so they had a Virginia commit last week on campus. He's going to get back for an official visit. They're battling Penn State there, battling Vanderbilt, and I think Syracuse is going to try and insert themselves in that recruitment as well. But that's really one that's left for them. They're checking in. They're doing their due diligence on some of these staffs and programs that are seeing decommitments. And like, North Carolina right now, there's a few guys in that class I think Nebraska would like another shot at. Tyron Wortham, a 4-star receiver, just decommitted from Michigan State. That's one they're checking in on. He's out of Florida. Not like the big body receiver target they look at, but I think he's the type of receiver talent they make an exception for and maybe add as a third receiver in their pursuit of one. Then defensive line, we're still waiting to find out who emerges out there. They have an offer out to a Damon Lewis out of Myers Park out in Charlotte. He's the younger brother of Damian Lewis. Carolina Panthers offensive guard, and so Rule drafted him, and so that connection, I don't know for sure what the Lewis family's connection is with Rule. It could be good, could be bad, it could help Nebraska, but that's one I'm keeping an eye on just because he's lining up some visits. I wouldn't be surprised if Nebraska gets him on an OV before it's all said and done. It reminds me a little bit of like Cam Leonard, like at the same time their development, just like similar type of like kind of edge prospect that can develop into a true like defensive end in a three-man front. So like that's kind of what I'm looking for. And then, I mean, they're looking for a big safety. They're looking for they're hoping to flip a Tadarius Hughes. We've heard kind of recently Jacob Eberhardt is at least open to potentially looking around. We'll see if that actually happens. And then the other one I would keep an eye on just because I don't think the door is 100% closed is Devin Jackson, the Oregon commit. Oregon's making it well known they want to keep him in the class, and they are making it known from a financial standpoint that they don't want him going anywhere else. But Odom's been peer recruiting him. He's got a really good relationship with Addison Williams. It wouldn't surprise me if when Odom visits later this year, I think he's aiming for November 1st. When Odom visits, it wouldn't surprise me if he's accompanied by Devin Jackson. But if you're looking for like the realistic targets, I think it's Tadarius Hughes, the Florida State safety commit. They're working to flip him. Cameron Wilson, they're still working to flip the Syracuse edge commit. And then at receiver, they are still looking to flip Josiah Teasley, the Virginia commit.
That's our guy, Tim Verghese, Inside Nebraska. Tim, great stuff. As always, enjoy your wedding. I hope they have some terrific baked goods there for you, and we will talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Tim.
That is Tim Verghese from Inside Nebraska. Coming up next, we're going to talk to the host of this show, DB.
Great.
He'll be joining us live from Crab Cake Central in Maryland.
Only took 87 minutes for me to lose my job. It's tough.
It wasn't your job to lose. That's awesome. I'm Ravi. We'll be back in just a minute with Hurrdat Sports Live. But before we do that, I got to remind you, make sure you get out to bbbsmidlands.org. Become a mentor today. You don't have to be perfect. It's just about showing up. And it only takes 4 hours a month to make a big difference. Whether you're just hanging out, shooting hoops, grabbing ice cream, or whatever else, the littlest moments make the biggest impact. bbbsmidlands.org to learn more and sign up to be a mentor today. Our guy DB coming up next.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
I'm proud of the way we fought. The lows of the game and the emotion and everything that was going on throughout that game. We keep talking about the past, and I don't like doing that, but I think it is something to build on. Especially when you're coming in and Coach Will's done a great job the last 2 years, and this is his year to kind of flip things around, and you can kind of see that. But proud of the way we kept fighting. The thing we want to work on is making sure and avoiding those lulls and how we can get out of them quicker if they do happen. Yeah, of course. You can see it in his eyes. You can see it when he catches the ball and the way he, bursts out of it because, you spend so much time throwing and working with somebody and, you just know. It's hard to explain, but you just know. And I think understanding whoever's hot that game, or it might be multiple guys, is just finding the ball and keep feeding it to them.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We welcome you to Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's the Maryland Terrapins and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Left side standing up, reaching up, and Terrell Newby is in for his 9th rushing touchdown of the year and the day's opening score. Newby trying to find the edge and hit from behind. His momentum carries him in for his 2nd touchdown of the first quarter. Fife under pressure. Westerkamp hangs on. Touchdown, Jordan Westerkamp. Newby left side. And Newby makes it a trifecta.
It's Mills again, right up the middle. Touchdown, Nebraska. Martinez going to try to push him with a sneak. I think the surge got him in, yes. Touchdown, Adrian Martinez.
You fight if it means you not. You fight, you fight.
Harper takes a snap, handoff Raiola, and an end-around handoff. Johnson there left, sweeps the edge. Trickery to perfection. Touchdown. 3 yards on the right-to-left run from Emmett Johnson.
It's one thing to not give the ball away, which we're doing a pretty good job, but we're taking the ball away. That's about playmakers.
Well, Eckley is inside his own 15. Barney at the Huskers 30. Snap back to Eckley. It's blocked. Conn blocked it. It's picked up. Connor Nelson. Touchdown, Huskers. They came right at it. Nelson picked it up. 13-0 Scarlet and the Cream.
Play the next play, but eventually, if you believe that, something good will happen.
Snap to Childs. 4-man twisting rush. Childs hits. He throws near left. It's intercepted. Picked off. It's Deshaun Singleton again.
If you believe that you're doing the right things, and we're doing the right things as a team, then double down on it. Keep doing it better.
Snap. Quick screen near left. Leaping catch and Hunter leaks through. Breaks an ankle tackle. There he goes. 140. 35 30. Hunter all the way. That just might be your dagger.
We on the same page? Yes, sir. Fight, fight, fight.
Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Live. That's awesome. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by our guy, ODB. What's up, buddy? How we doing?
Was that a wave? That's kind of weird, but
what?
I mean,
do we wave? Yeah, it's waving.
Sorry, no.
Hi,
you know what, DB? Why we got to start on the wrong foot?
It's
You're
Friday, so I guess let's get crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, come on. Let's have a good day.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how is Shane's Open?
That was pretty good. I give that about a 7.
Ooh.
He's coming off like a 9.
Yeah, last week's was really, really good.
Last week, I mean, that was incredible. So that, you start adding music and movie scenes and the highlights, and that's tough to stop. But that's a solid 7. Like, I'm ready to go. It's a little bit of a sleepy place right here right now, so we need to wake this thing up.
Yeah. Sleepy as in they're sleeping in, or what do you mean? Just like
no, not at all.
They
got their schedule going already. I'm heading over to the stadium here at 10:30. Well, 9:30. 10. I'm just going to talk Eastern time, so I'm going to head over here to the stadium at 10:30 to get my stuff over there and get set up. These guys are out moving around. Breakfast was early. It was pretty subdued last night. We actually pulled into the hotel right at 8. So it wasn't, it wasn't a lot of downtime. I got a question though. I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Action Jackson, you can be objective here. You don't have to be swayed because Ravi can reach out and say something belligerent. But
that is true.
So right when we get to security check in Lincoln, we don't go in the airport. It's like a little municipal garage. It's all set up. There's scanners. You sit down, you get wanded. And there's a place to pick up food. So in one row there was it's already packaged. They had Chinese. That was one row. The next row was like Philly cheesesteaks, some with veggies, some without. They're all wrapped. The next row was like club sandwiches. You can get chips, your drink, or whatever. So you just get like a grocery bag, and then you walk over to the plane. So it's 100 yards, 150 yards, whatever. And you had an in-game menu, or an in-flight menu. I'm sorry, in-game flight menu.
You're locked in.
So there was another 3 options, right? I can't even remember, a burger, chicken fettuccine, or like a Caesar wrap.
Yeah.
My question to you is, you guys, if players got Chinese, okay, wheels up at 3. I was seated at 2, so they were there at least. It was there at least by 1. What's an acceptable time last night to still eat that Chinese?
Okay. I'll be honest, DB. I'm kind of on your side on this one. I've taken many foods from a plane or airport. I've transported that cross state lines. Listen, if that thing I get in an Atlanta airport and I'm getting in my car in Omaha, I'm chowing down. I'm eating that thing. So I think any time is fine. I'm good with that.
Hey, listen. Be honest, Ravi.
Yeah. What's in the Chinese food?
So I think it was orange chicken or sesame chicken. There were rice. There were some veggies.
Okay, so you're gonna be surprised by my answer here.
I will be if you're being honest.
So I think you're okay there for several hours because number one, if you're dealing with like a fried breaded chicken situation, that's much better than like a shrimp seafood type thing. So I think that's a plus. And then,
well, you're gonna hold me to that shrimp, aren't you?
I am. The shrimp bothers me a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. The shrimp is stuck with me. And then you've also got Chinese food, which is a typically pretty salty food, which I think helps.
So we're back in the 1600s where we're preserving meat with salt.
I mean, listen, we're still here, so it must have worked to a certain
because you think Kristen and those guys are like just team salt, right? And just pack that thing in.
I'm just saying, Chinese food, there's going to be a certain amount of salt there with the soy sauce and whatnot. I think that's a safer option to eat later than
the Philly wraps are foiled and they're huge, right? And some players will take like 2 or 3, like they're just like big old forearms, right? I watched a player last night in the lobby. His roommate was waiting for DoorDash, and he was literally like fingering the meat out of the bread, like. Because the bread was obviously a little soggy, but the meat was legit. So he's just like scooping it out like a crane elevator. Would you have chastised that player? That meat had not been refrigerated for 7 hours.
I don't know, DB. I'll be honest. The only thing I can't get over right now is you mentioned at the very beginning of this that there were Philly cheesesteak options, and if any person that I
Took
was
Chinese over Philly cheese.
No. If any person that I know I was sitting next to an airplane on for an extended amount of hours picked a Philly cheesesteak, I mean that's just fart central. Like I'm not hanging out with that guy. Like that I would just that's a bad teammate right there. That's what that is. Like
that's not where I thought you were going. That's not where I thought you were going.
No, listen, there was some verbiage in there on that last. I was trying to get past that mentally too. I don't want to go back and relive that film by any means. That was some tough wording right there.
There was some phrasing there, DB, that caught me
sorry.
up. There was some phrasing there.
I just was, I tell stories. I'm very descriptive. That's what was happening. So.
The verb you used and the adjectives that followed were not great.
Well, he just like scooped it out.
No, you didn't say scooped.
The second time you did. The
second time. The first one.
Well, he did use his fingers. The only reason I remember is because.
But then you used the adjective soggy, and I'm like, we can't be doing that.
The bread. I just was imagining. I wish I had I might have an old one. I don't know. I'm eating that thing all day long, and I think normal people are too. I think you just give me a ridiculously hard time.
Listen, so if I would have eaten the Chinese food by the time I got back to the hotel, I admitted that. I am not touching the Philly cheesesteak 7 hours later. Pass. Hard pass.
I said to myself, I'm going to get some rules on food engagement from some fellow food storage experts.
Can I ask you, have you talked to Kristen about this?
No.
I think I would like the expert's opinion. Whatever she says, I will back off.
She was literally the first person in the doorway at the hotel lobby when we got here, because she has like the whole setup where the players go and what they can grab to eat and stuff like that. So I gave her a high five, told her I liked the glasses, and I kept on moving.
Yeah, I think we need to have Kristen on the show.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I don't. We don't need to share all that.
That can be done. No, that can be done. That's easy.
I think that's
easy.
Somebody,
she's gonna look at me like I'm nuts, but she might have my back. You never know.
Well, that's what. Like I said, I'm willing to be surprised if she has your back. I will back off because she is the expert in the area.
That's true.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
We're just trying not to waste food. That's okay.
How's the vibe of the team, DB?
Team is good. They're pretty locked. Like I don't know if this is like predetermined or just how they're going to get down, but I mean, there are very, very few exchanges. A couple of the parents met, players that are from this part of the area. I saw a little parent engagement in the hotel last night, but it was pretty subdued. A ton of DoorDash orders. I don't know if it was our staff, like the non-essential football staff, but I mean, they get plenty of food. That their areas where they tape and can do all their stuff. It's their meeting rooms. It's fully loaded, but there was a ton of DoorDash going on. And I think I cannot confirm because I was locked into the Dodgers game. I think, and I know you're going to be afraid, Ravi, because he is very flippant and sarcastic too. I think Benny Mac DoorDashed seafood. Ooh. I think.
Oof. I've given
they are on a coast.
I know. I've given you a hard time about DoorDashing sushi before because I just don't think it holds that well. That's not a food safety thing. I just don't think it. Yeah. Like I don't think it transports that well.
He sent me a place because neither one of us wanted to leave, so he sent me a place. It was called Hook and Reel, and they had. I think he even DoorDashed a boil.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not eating that in my room, so I was out. So.
You can eat that in the lobby.
Yeah.
You can do it in the shower. Stay clean. Do it that way. Rinse off right after. That's
the bathrooms are immaculate. I'll give them that.
Have you? Is tonight the crab cake night? Is tonight your?
Ooh. Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to. I don't like to eat past a certain time at night for the next morning. So
are you going to actually leave the room?
I will to go to the stadium. I probably will walk. I need some fresh air. The bus ride, rough.
Yeah.
Oh, I looked at Keith Mann was to my right. I think B-Mac, Jess, and Cassidy were playing cards in front of me. Who was behind me? Somebody's wife. Anyway, about 10 minutes into the bus trip, we were like, this might be his first time learning to drive a stick.
Well, that's probably just the Maryland advantage, right? Because they knew Nebraska brought their own food. They're like, how do we get them? We'll give them the worst driver possible.
I mean, and there's 6 buses, so we're on 5. Like, what are the odds it was planned? So I felt awful because I have some headphones on, and I was probably a little more quiet than normal. And Jess looked behind me and she goes, "Are you okay?" And I go, "Yeah." I said, "It's 0-0 in the 6th inning. How, like, why are you?" So I think she was mad, and she can pout. So she's mad. She kind of turned back around, and B Mac comes there. He's facing me because there was like a 4-way middle seat with like tables.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "You good?" And I said, "Man, I don't know if I'm breathing in gas or," I said, "but I'm nauseous." And I put my headphones back on, and because it's an hour bus ride. And Keith Mann was getting ready to get off about 10 minutes before the stop. And he goes, "I don't feel so good." I'm like, "I wonder if it's the food." He's like, "No, it's just the stopping, the starting." I was like, "Yeah, it's like we're on a cruise, right?" So it could have just been being 2 babies, right, on a 60-passenger bus or whatever it is. So I get out, and behind me is Dr. Tao. He helps the team from a physician standpoint, and he's also Westside's orthopedic. So Dr. Tao's, and he's super kind. And he's like, "Oh, I might need to go for an 8:30 walk, man. I'm a little queasy right now." And I was like, "See, it's not guys, I'm telling." And we have a police escort. There was no reason. Like, just drive that thing.
I'll be honest. I'm a little surprised Rule doesn't bring his own bus driver. Like, listen, I'm a little surprised. He might now.
I'm gonna date myself here, but do either of you guys know Cisco? The music band? Yeah. Brother, long blonde hair with a Nebraska hat. He was just giving me "These Are the Times" Cisco vibe. Yeah. I think it was intentional, fellas. I do.
I'm just saying, like, I think from now on, the Rule might start bringing his own bus driver. That seems like
they were probably fine. I mean, he's like the head honcho in bus 1. He's probably cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just the non-essential football person.
It was bus 5, man, was rough.
Hey, you take out the base of the program. That's how you get them, right? Like,
well, I know one thing. If something happens to our bus, nothing's happening because we got the equipment guys, the doctors, and the broadcast team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, best wishes.
That seems like pretty essential personnel to me, DB.
Yep.
We got our SID on board. Like, yeah, we got some important people.
DB, you will notice that your good friend Rico did put non-essential football personnel in your lower third there. So he just wanted to update.
And you know what? Remember that one nice thing I said about Rico during the break yesterday, Ravi? I'd take that back.
DB, so comparative, obviously, there's the first true road game, right? Because everyone counts the Arrowhead game as Lincoln South. But you mentioned the team being more locked in and just kind of quiet vibes going on so far as they're the day early. What have you noticed so far in similarities from the Cincinnati trip to where they are on their first Big Ten road test at Maryland?
So I think that's a great question, and I think it's vastly different. And part of it is for the reason you alluded to, I forget my directions. Lincoln South, is that what I should have been saying?
Yeah.
Lincoln, yeah. So there were so many people, right? When you dropped me off, I was like, "Hey, do you want to come in?" And it looked like a party down there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not that way here. It is quiet. It is dialed. And there's this weird part of me. You guys know how I like to profile Coach Rule and kind of his body language and stuff. I think he likes this. I think he likes just the team, small, intimate, kind of just them, lock in. Like, there's this, he's, for as good of a orator as he is, he doesn't enjoy just willy-nilly conversation, right? Especially the closer you get to game time. So there's this part of me, AJ, that thinks like they actually like this. It's just them. We're pretty far away. It's not. I mean, it's Omaha to Lincoln, right? So teams stay at the hotel across from where you guys are at currently and go to Lincoln. So it's a little longer than that. It's probably 40 minutes to College Park. But it was an hour from the airport. So I think he likes where we're at here in Bethesda.
DB, as you're looking at the matchup, we were talking to Tim earlier, and we've talked all week about Malik Washington and kind of where he ranks on the quarterbacks Nebraska.
Yeah, what were TV's thoughts?
He said he's probably fourth.
Yeah, see, okay. We're vibing.
I don't think you can get him above third. I think it's either third or fourth.
Okay.
And we talked a little bit about where Maryland as a team, and he brought up, and I think you said this earlier in the week, good high-end talent, maybe better high-end talent than Michigan State. The depth of the talent is an issue, and it's really the talent's really present in flashy spots, right? Quarterback a little flashy, DN's a little flashy, and I think it is in spots where we're afraid of, like as a fan base, a little bit afraid of the DNs because of the tackle play, a little bit afraid of the quarterback because of what we've seen happen with QB run game. As we get closer and closer to this game, how do you think this plays out? Because the more I think about it, and I don't want to sway your answer here, but I'll just tell you where I'm at.
Well, you won't.
I never do. But the more I think about it, I'm like, man, this is a team that cannot and will not run the football, and going against the best pass defense in the country, and Dylan versus a true freshman quarterback on the other side. Like, I'm having a hard time if Nebraska shows up, right? That's the big X factor. I'm having a hard time finding a Maryland win.
Yeah, so I think stylistically, I probably agree with you. I don't think it's an ideal matchup for how Maryland plays versus how Nebraska plays. And listen, I'm going to be honest. I haven't said anything about it all week, but I was surprised that the line was as high as it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you would have asked me what I would have made that line after, Sunday night, I would have said Nebraska 3.5. 5.5 surprised me to see it get to 6.5. It's been as high as 7. I'm looking now across the board. It's 6.5. It's a little juiced to lay the 6.5. I think Vegas sees that too. But you're right though. The one thing you don't really know is how Nebraska will handle it situationally, because it's the first time they've been through it. And I'm not trying to make a big deal about playing on the road. I'm not. It's something that you're going to have to do 4, 5, 6 times in a season. So I do think this travel is a little unique. I think this travel is a little unique this late in the season. And I also think you're walking into a stadium where you could potentially have to bring your own juice. I've really dialed in to Maryland's wide receivers and their O-line play. Now, I get it. Johnny Holiday, he said a lot of things, but one thing I think I like Johnny.
I do too.
They had him on Husker Sports Nightly the night before, and Kyle and I were exchanging Johnny Holiday stories, and Johnny was not aware that Kyle was hired in doing the play-by-play. So that was it was a good exchange. KC, like, he's just like water off a duck's back. He laughed it off, but they just let you know what we were dealing with. I say all that to say, their wide receivers, not as top end as we've seen Maryland before, right? Like, Maryland they got guys in the league, clearly. They got most of their front 7 signing NFL contracts last year, Hippolyte and at linebacker and the front 4 from a year ago. So I look at them defensively, and they have to play some young guys, right? And they're talented. Zahir and Stewart, those guys are, they're talented, and they're going to be really good players. I just don't know, like, if they're ready yet for what's going to happen. I watched the second half of that Washington game, and they just wore them out. They just physically, like, took the game over. And, I'm not sure what Pep Hamilton wanted to accomplish with the lack of, do you guys know how many times Maryland ran the ball in the fourth quarter? How many rush attempts they had?
I don't, but I know it wasn't very many, because I watched that and I wondered what's happening.
It was one.
Oh, God.
Wow. One true rushing attempt. It was like the screen game and the RPOs and the flip it out. I just don't know if that dog will hunt against these guys if you don't threaten Nebraska with tackle to tackle interior run game, and you let them scheme the perimeter. I just you have to especially when you're in one back. When you're in one back with no tackle to tackle run game, it just, I don't know. Butler's pretty bright, and Snow's really good, and I was messing with him in the lobby, and he wasn't up for jokes either. So I'm probably just not very funny. But then he turned around and he talked to Jess, so I need to think about that. It's probably a me thing. Addison Williams, like those guys, they're bright.
Yeah,
and they could have something in the bag. Now they just can't fall asleep. You have to be sharp. I think Maryland feels like, I'm just reading some of the local stuff here. I think Maryland, it's not quite a back against the walls game, but they've had some of these, right? They had Maryland and Ohio State, and they were tied at the half or down a score at the half against Ohio State and got their doors blown off. They laid an egg to Michigan State and the season tanked. They, they're already fast forwarding if they don't get this one. Now UCLA looks a little tougher, and November is brutal. Like, it's weird because it's a team who's had the wheels come off in a hurry before from right underneath them. So I think they'll come out and they'll give Nebraska's their best shot with some juice. I just don't like the matchup stylistically.
Damon, so when you talk about kind of the defensive advantages, what kind of sets up for this contest too, which impact position do you think has the chance to make game-changing plays, especially maybe near the front end of the game if Nebraska is able to take control early? Is it the defensive line or defensive backs?
For Nebraska?
For Nebraska.
I definitely think it's the defensive line. I know that's counterintuitive because the secondary has played well, but I watched these guys kind of move in packs last night, and they're getting their food, and I don't know, they're all together now. And I didn't, a year ago I probably didn't see that. Cam was with Judy, and like it was always an O-line thing. And now I kind of see, the D-line picking it up. They're kind of moving in packs. I think they hear the whispers. Their coach rode the elevator with me last night. You'd have loved this, Ravi, because you're not a very nice person, but there was two older couples getting on the elevator ahead of us, and I'm on 12, and Coach Braden is not on 12. And he and I went back and forth for probably 15 seconds on who should get on the elevator first. No, you go. No, you go. No, you go. Austin, Avi would have rolled his eyes. He'd have pushed me in the elevator, and he'd have said, "Get on that damn thing." But just so you know, Coach Braden,
he would have hit you with the, "What are we doing here?"
Yeah, right, yeah. Coach Braden, unfortunately, was not. I went first, and we were just talking for the short ride we had about his presser and kind of why he's here and teaching young men. And he said something, man. I already didn't sleep very well, but he's like, just to watch these young men grow emotionally together, that's where it's at. And I just was like, oh, nah, I got to pretend to be tough. So instead of saying anything profound, I dapped him up and I was like, have a good night.
Nice.
Oh man, DB the statesman, man. That's me.
Well, DB, I hope that they are hearing not just what other people are saying about him, but what I'm saying about him. And I'm saying by the end of the year, I'm going to be right about that defensive line.
Yeah, when I have to look at guys kind of duck and step side, but they're I get it. They're not as big as we want, but they're significantly bigger than they were. I looked at Keona Davis, and I'm just like,
that's a big boy.
Man.
That's a big boy.
And he's letting his hair grow too, so he's added a couple of inches.
Yeah,
I'm just hoping they can make a few key plays in special teams and get the party started off right.
DB, before we let you go, how big are run fits for Westside tonight?
They're huge. I love our game plan. And this, I'm not even going to hold you, Austin. This game will boil down to two things. The toughest team will win, and the team that tackles the best will win. That's it. It's about the two T's. It is toughness and tackling. We've I'm not going to whine and sit here and say we've been left for dead, but I mean, listen, we have lost the right to be looked at a certain way in this moment, right? So it's up to us to go back and get what we think we've earned. And we've got 2 weeks starting with tonight to go back and get it. So they're not in school today, which I don't love, but that also gives me an opportunity to talk to them all day, which I do love. So,
well, we talked to Coach JOHNK earlier, and that's who you've got next week. But tonight,
hey, isn't he a gem?
Yeah, he's great.
He is. People get so mad at me at Westside because it's a Westside prep thing. I'm like, I don't know, man. I really like the guy. We get along beautifully. I think he's good for young people. He's got a fantastic sophomore class over there, which I hate to say it. You know what's funny? I'm gonna tell you guys this because nobody's listening to me anyway. So I had a lot of those young guys, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and I always used to say, I was like, man, I said, you guys just got to be patient because the group kind of stayed together for a long time. We had
That's Micah's year, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, I said, just trust me. I said, whomever your high school coach is, he's going to love you guys. Like, just hang in there. And we would build on it each year, right? We talk fits and box and like we do all the things that I talk about now. Mm-hmm. Do you realize how ironic it is that could end up being the end of me here coming up? Because I'm not coaching any of them. The only one I got is Micah, and he's my own. So, like, how'd I get the short end of the stick?
I thought at IMG North you got everybody you wanted. Is that not what happened?
Yeah, isn't that something? We did get Lake Meyer. His dad is a West Side grad, and he's a good young quarterback. And but I told you the funny story when I was leaving Costco after a couple of the players. The young guys told me that they were all going to prep. Mm-hmm. And Coach JOHNK was coming in and I was coming out, and he kind of gives me this wry smile. I mean, he laid it on pretty thick for those guys. And I said, he looked at me, I looked at him, and I was like, look, I said, I'm not mad at you. If anybody's going to take care of him, I know it's you guys. He dapped me up. I kept it moving. I mumbled all the way to the car.
DB, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. Get over to the stadium. Have a good day. Let me know how those crab cakes are, and have a good call tomorrow, all right?
Well, I'm sure everybody else will. If they don't like them, it's going to be my fault. But I'm going to go ahead and get a straw poll in terms of what type of crab cakes people like, because it can be different.
Low bread, high crab. That's the key.
Yeah. If you talk to Daniel, he called me in transition, so I couldn't talk on the phone on the bus, but I'll hit him up this morning.
All right. Sounds good, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
Buddy.
DB.
We're going to take a real quick break here, 30 seconds a minute. We'll get to Mike Sautter coming up next here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Mike Sautter.
Yeah.
Mike Sautter.
Oh, man, you're going to put me on the spot.
Mike Sautter.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centrist Federal Credit Union. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Mike Sautter, Hurrdat Sports and NebPreps. Mike, apologize for being a few minutes late. You know how DB is about staying on the clock.
Yeah, he's not great about that.
What do you mean? Thank you for being patient with us today. How are we doing, Mike?
I'm all right. I've just been mathing a little bit.
Okay,
like
what kind of math are you doing?
Math with Matt Sautter? That's sick.
Math with Mike, right?
Oh.
So just as a reminder here, Millard South, of their 21 starters, because Marion Jackson is the two-way guy, the only two-way guy they have. 17 of them played junior Patriots, which I understand, like, but they recruited kids to play junior Patriots from other teams. I do not care about that. And neither should anybody else. And so 17 of their 21 played junior Patriots. Also, by the way, I think the number's close to 85% of their roster started high school at Millard South, this current roster, when they were freshmen. That's a good number, I think, right? Yeah. Okay, another really quick fact thing, some more numbers, if you will. On their 2023, the Millard South 2023 semifinal team that lost to Elkhorn South in the semifinals, 4 of their top 6 offensive players statistically were sophomores. Their quarterback, Jet Tamala, their second leading rusher, Gabe Pruka, and their 1,000-yard receiving guy, Marion Jackson. He had 1,000 yards as a sophomore receiving. He was a sophomore, now a senior on this team. And their third leading receiver, one Isaac Jensen, was a sophomore on that 2023 semifinal team. So that's just some quick Millard South numbers for those that maybe hadn't paid attention before when we talked about this a couple weeks ago. And also for those that think that it's such a broken system and what are they doing to high school football. I'd like to know when people say they need to fix it and what are they doing? Who's the they you're talking about? Because the they could mean a lot of different things. Just say the name if you're bold enough to say stuff publicly. Say the they. Who's the they? Because
I don't think people know, to be honest. Because they not only don't know the they also don't know the solution, right? Because that's what I'm more interested in this conversation. Because there is no, I've thought a lot about this. There's no clear solution. If you're looking for competitive balance, there's no if we just did this, you know what I mean?
But here's my thing. Some more math for you. I love math.
Big math.
So in 2021, that Gretna team that was pretty good, that won their state title in 2021, which we were there. We all saw the game. We know what happened.
I mean, according to the NSAA, it's unofficial. What do you want me to say?
I saw the game happen. I don't know.
I didn't. I'm just saying, it is not an official state title. That's all I'm saying.
Gonna hold it in.
That week or that year, they beat Bellevue East 77-0 in week 5, and no one raised an eyebrow about that. And in that same year, in the semifinals, they beat that Gretna team beat Omaha North 34-0, which 35 is the running clock number, and it almost got there in a semifinal game. No one's like, oh, what is happening? I can't believe these scores. No one said anything about that.
Can I ask a question? And I'm being serious. Yeah. I'm not trying to be sarcastic or anything.
I'm listening.
Is part of it because we sit here and we see, okay, Millard South had to forfeit the game at the beginning of the season for violations. Is part of it because we feel like, whether it's accurate or not, there is a certain sense that they may have gone about this in a way that was outside the rules? I don't want to say the word cheat because I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Is that part of the consternation? Is we feel like this isn't just an open enrollment or a transfer or a feeder program or a recruitment thing, that because of the forfeit, it lends some credence in people's minds that maybe something was done nefariously?
Yes. Here's the facts about that.
Okay. Yeah, please.
If that one game and the 2 kids and all that stuff. And
the coach was suspended for a couple more after that.
Right.
Yeah, please explain.
Here's actually what happened. So that family, the 2 kids, and Stu at the World Herald reported on this. So that family played junior Patriots with this group of kids, right? So there's a senior and a sophomore that are on Millard South's roster that played Junior Patriots with this group of kids. They wanted to come back, play with their friends. By the way, that family's, like from Omaha too. So they wanted to come back, play with their friends. Dad has a pretty good job in Kansas City. Couldn't find a job to match, financially and all that stuff in order to move back. So there is one rule, bylaw, whatever. If you sign the paperwork to hand over your parental rights, if you will, then you're eligible or whatever, right? Without having to move domiciles or stuff. Basically, you're giving up your parental rights to another family and a kid can live with them, whatever. Millard South just didn't sign that paperwork. That's it. They didn't sign the paper. Like that's the facts. So like, that's exactly what happened. Again, didn't just recruit random kids from out of state to get whatever. These are kids that played with them and knew them and all of that. So, yeah. Also, okay, I got some more math on my big whiteboard here.
Oh, what do we got?
So we're going to go back to the 50-plus point wins, right? So of the 50-plus point wins in through week 6, Class A, there have been 26 of them, and of those have been 22 shutouts. Class B through D6, there's been 85 50-plus point wins and 44 shutouts. And go back to the Class A number, Millard South has had 4 of those 26 50-plus point wins, and only 3 of them have been shutouts. So no one wants to talk about the other 21 50-plus point wins and the 19 other shutouts that have been 50-plus point wins. No one also wants to talk about the 85 Class B through D6 50-plus point wins, and 44 of those are shutouts. So if my issue here is, if you care about the one thing, you should care about the other thing too.
You have to care about all of them, right?
You have to care about it all.
This is not a Millard South problem. This is not a Class A problem. This is a competitive balance throughout the state, throughout classes. If that's the thing you care about, then it is a top to bottom issue.
Mike, can I ask just a hypothetical on this? And you can shut this down if I'm just completely wrong, or if you don't want to like bring up this side of the conversation. But if in this scenario, Millard South is the same team that they are right now, but the team and half of their Division I commits are Nebraska commits, do people perceive this Millard South team differently?
I would say yes.
I agree.
Yeah,
Because I
think
the issue is that Millard South is not a Nebraska feeder as it is right now, and that's that could be a variety of different reasons.
That could be a Nebraska decision. Like that might not be the kid. Like I don't.
That could be a variety.
A lot of those
reasons.
kids don't have Nebraska offers. But if I'm not mistaken,
if their 16 Division I prospects all were Nebraska commits, would they not be the most celebrated high school football team in the state in history? No one would bat an eye.
Talk about them a lot more. Yeah. And so Ravi, to the forfeit thing. So I did some big math on this. I went back since 2003.
Yeah.
Where we have
the good year for high school football, by the way. I don't know if you know this. Really good year for high school football.
Since 2003, I went back and looked at every single Class A team's schedule. Every single one. There have been, guess how many forfeits have happened since 2003 in Class A football due to health and safety,
competition or participation, basically.
Yeah. Take a guess.
I don't think it's that many. I mean, I'm not as dialed in as you are, but I play pretty close attention to Class A football. I would say less than a dozen.
5.
Oh my God. Yeah, like it's not. Yeah, I mean that's lower than I even thought. I was thinking like 8, maybe.
Actually, I'm sorry, 4. It's 4. I have it written down on my notes here. Omaha Benson forfeited their last 2 games in 2024. In 2021, Omaha Benson forfeited Week 8 versus Millard North, and in 2021, Omaha Bryan forfeited Week 8 versus Omaha West Side.
So the only ones, so I just want to make this very clear because there's an elephant in the room with that time frame and the schools and the district they're from. To be clear, the only forfeits for competition or participation reasons since 2003 are all post-COVID and in the district that canceled football for the entire year that you said at the time was setting OPS football back a decade. Am I correct?
1,000% correct.
So that is not a Millard South issue or a recruitment issue or a whatever else. That is a COVID, a choice the district made. I'm not even saying like however you feel about that choice. That's what it is, right?
Right.
May have been the right choice for the district, may have not. I'm not here to have that discussion, but definitely had consequences that we're seeing now, correct?
100% correct.
So this Lincoln High forfeit is the first one in 22 years that is likely not directly correlated to COVID.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems like it matters.
Yeah. Also,
right?
Also, I'm just going to put it on Front Street here a little bit, and people might not like this. So, not this past week, last week. So week before last, like Monday-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln High basically wanted to forfeit the game.
Mm-hmm.
There were discussions that happened. Millard South agreed to a number of things in order to get the game played. One of those things was start the game with a running clock, which you can do if both teams agree.
Okay.
So you can do that.
Fair.
Millard South also agreed to fair catch every kickoff if there was one. They also agreed to fair catch every punt. They also agreed to not rush the punter. They also agreed to not blitz on defense. And so
they basically agreed to like spring game or Pro Bowl rules.
Correct.
Have you ever heard of anything like that? I'm
No.
sort of stunned to hear that.
No.
Of concessions.
So, but yeah, hey, maybe Lincoln and I had kids get hurt. I don't know that, right? Like maybe that, and if that's the case, great, like fine, right? But I do know that
forfeit, I don't have an issue. Like that is what it is,
right? Like I do know that Millard South did agree to all of those parameters of the game to get the game in because they knew, what happened last year is, basically punting on the second half of the game. So they agreed to that, like trying, right? Yeah. So also if there is some talk about like Lincoln High is doing this to prove a point about, transfers and all this stuff and whatever, because remember when Lincoln High was good, like really good, because I was there at Lincoln High a lot in the late 2010s. They were pretty good with Cedric Case at quarterback and Zion Perry running like wide receiver. They were pretty good.
Nice
they were pretty good. Made the playoffs a couple years and all that.
Yeah.
The core of that group were not Lincoln High neighborhood kids at all. Like they were actually a lot of them Lincoln Southwest kids, like area kids. But hey, they did go to high school started their careers at Lincoln High.
Mm-hmm.
And I have zero issue with that. The whole middle school recruiting thing, like as far as, they recruit kids off of this team and this team and this team. Hello, like it's not just a football thing. Like that happens in
horrible in basketball.
Yep. Club basketball. And
horrifying in basketball.
Youth basketball. When I say youth, I mean below high school.
Yeah.
Happens in softball and volleyball and all this stuff. Like it happens. Like in youth sports, that's youth sports. I could care less about that happening there. The NSAA, the people that are in charge of enforcing the membership's approved or board approved bylaw, the people that work there, there's zero jurisdiction over middle school sports. And I can almost guarantee you the last thing they want to do is dive into that. So like that's a non-issue in my opinion. Right. Go ahead.
I was going to say, can I just say, because I feel a little dirty here. I hate Millard South, to be clear. As a Millard North guy, never been a fan. I want that to be put out there because I don't know, like it probably is seen as me defending Millard South right now. And to a certain degree I am, because for the large part, like I think you're right in that this is not a specific Millard South issue. This is not a specific Class A issue. This is not a specific Omaha issue. This is a statewide, class-wide, sport-wide, not just a football issue, as we mentioned here. This is a thing that there has been a lack of competitive balance. I mean, there is one Lincoln State title since 2003, right? There is
in Southeast, yeah.
Yes, in 11. Is that right?
Yeah, 9, 11, something.
Somewhere in there. There is one Western Nebraska title since 1995. That's Kearney in 06, right? And this, I mean, in basketball, you want to go, when's the last time Lincoln won a state title in boys basketball?
Ooh, it's been a minute.
I mean, they didn't even make the state tournament for like 20 years.
Yeah, and well, OPS same way. Like it was a couple years ago. It was the first time in forever. I remember doing the math that OPS didn't have a team that made the boys or girls basketball state tournament. It was the first time in like over a decade. So, and that was recent. I will say this about, competitive balance. Everyone brings this up. There is a competitive balance committee of athletic administrators across the state that meets and has met for like a year on like trying to, help solve some of these things and issues and, whatever perceived issues that people have. They just actually met on Wednesday too. So like they meet regularly and discuss these things and are working on things. And for, frankly, the people like Mitch Sherman and Danny Woodhead and other people that have talked and said, oh, they're just sitting on their hands and not doing anything about anything. What is going to be fixed? I don't know, man. 3 weeks ago, they just passed legislation to change the whole way Class A football scheduling is done. And they also did it for Class B too, and the way districts are done.
Real quick, can you make those changes to me real quick, just as a refresher for people?
Yeah, they just did it 3 weeks ago. So don't say they're not doing anything, because that's unequivocally false. Anyway, the changes in Class A. So they're going to do away with districts. Completely do away with districts in Class A.
Okay.
It's going to be wild card points based only is how you make the playoffs, right?
How does that impact scheduling?
So they're going to schedule like teams, if you will. So you don't want to call it tiers. That's not part of the legislation, but it's basically going to be tiered.
Okay.
So like you have a top tier of teams, a middle and two middles and one bottom, right?
Okay.
So what they're going to very much so try and avoid doing when Nate Newhouse is in charge of scheduling for the state for football, because he's and by the way, football is the only sport that the state does the schedule for, right?
Okay.
They're going to try and match up the tiered, if you will, teams to play against each other more often. So in the past, you've had 4 or 5. So teams can send in their preferred list that they want to play, right?
Okay.
And that number was 4 or 5 only. And now that list is going to grow to like 7 or 8.
Okay.
And then Nate's going to take that information, or the people that work at the NSA that help him do the scheduling are going to take that information and do, the best they can to match up those games. One, so you still keep some traditional rivalries, if you will.
Sure.
And then they're going to have, the idea is the top group is not going to play the bottom group. Maybe one game you'll see that, maybe depending on, school schedule. And then the middle school, the middle group will play kind of each other. So the bottom group will play primarily against themselves, except for maybe they'll jump up and play like the tier 3 or tier 2 teams once or twice, maybe, or something, right? And it's all going to be based off of wildcard points the previous 2 years, which it has been based off of that forever. So you will see more teams that aren't, like, for example, Millard South playing Benson, right? Like that's going to be avoided. Traditionally good teams versus traditionally not as great of programs, you will see that not happen as much going forward after this year. So next year. In Class B, they're doing more geographical districts. So you don't have an Elkhorn North, a Bennington, and a Scott all in the same district.
Right.
And so that'll be East, Central, and West, kind of, I guess, if you will. And there's going to be an emerging district in Class B where the bottom 8 wildcard points from the previous 2 years will be in that emerging district, and they're going to have one and only one state playoff berth from that emerging district, and it's going to be the team that wins that district, and they're automatically going to be the 16 seed in the playoffs in Class B. So, like, they're clearly working on it, have worked on it. It's not anything that they're not doing any random, issue. And to be quite honest, we haven't even talked any football, but that's fine because this is such a topic that I care about, obviously. Is this Millard South group is just a special group. They're pretty dang good. Guess what? 2 years ago, that Omaha West Side team, would you consider that group a pretty special group of players?
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought they were the best football team, high school gathering football team that I've ever seen. Yeah.
Correct. And people freaked out about them and all the recruiting and their transfers and all this stuff and whatever. And hey, yep, sure. But did they break any rules?
No.
Okay, thanks. Nope. The answer is no.
What was the final of that state title game, by the way?
I don't know. It's a lot.
56-7, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So, and then we talked about Bellevue West has had a run, and all these teams have had runs. It's cyclical. Like Millard South's still going to be good next year. They're not going to be like this. They're not going to be like this year. They're still going to be good. They're going to be fine, but they're not going to be this.
Their quarterback's not going to be playing at Alabama the next year.
Right. Like it's a cyclical thing. Also, Class A football isn't just broken. Like, oh my gosh, we've got to just overhaul the whole system and the whole thing. I don't know, man. Like Omaha Central beat West Side this year, who everyone pegged as, oh yeah, West Side and Millard South in the final. Oh, everyone said that at the beginning of the year. Central beat them, right?
And then
Omaha North
and lost.
And I hate the transitive proper thing, but this kind of proves the point.
Mm-hmm.
So Central beats West Side. Omaha North hammers Central. Prep pretty much handles Omaha Central. Millard North beats Kearney, a top 10 team, last week. It's pretty competitive.
Yeah.
Outside of that one team, that one special group of players.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's pretty competitive.
Well, and
I would make the case that teams 2 through 7 have a pretty legit shot if they're lined up, right in playoff district seeding. They have a pretty legit shot to make it to Lincoln and play in the state final. Teams 2 through 7. That's pretty balanced. That's pretty balanced.
And Mike, remind me, this is obviously just a Class A issue, right? That Millard South is just the top team. There's no other classes where this is happening, where there's one team that's just dominant and running away with the class.
Oh, I don't know. Wahoo's pretty damn good in Class C1.
And I listen. This is my C1 side of it too. Like I think Sydney's a really good team. I wish that there was no Wahoo. I wish Wahoo was in B this year, so Sydney had a chance. But I was at the Sydney game this past weekend, and all those guys are like, "Well, how good is Wahoo?" Because they know who they have to beat. They know the one team that they have to go up. And Wahoo is, comparatively, they have an average margin of victory of 40 points.
Also, back to the forfeit thing, Austin, you had this number, so credit to you. 38 forfeits in C2 8-man and 6-man combined. 38 games have been forfeited so far this year in that. There's been nine schools this year that have forfeited games. 9. And throughout the state. in every class. So if you care about the one thing, you better damn well care about the other thing, because you can't have it the one way and not care about the other thing. Like that pisses me off, obviously, because we've talked about this for 30 minutes. So like you better care about both, like, or just keep your mouth shut.
Let's talk a little actual football here, because there are some good matchups. I'm going to be out at Elkhorn South West Side tonight. The two best running backs in the state.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, well, Mike, I was going to ask you, can you just to follow up on that, two best running backs in the state, and if you were like kind of building the best running backs, like who would be kind of the 3-4 across?
I think Jerron Cannon's really good at North.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think Kip Bringham's really, really good at West Wahoo too.
I thought of him right before we came on.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Like I think he's pretty good. Two
you would have said Derek Jones too before.
Yeah, Derek Jones was on a heater this year. Like there's a lot of good backs. There always is. Mm-hmm. But Tay is pretty special. His from a recruiting profile, it probably won't be, a super high level just because of his size. But I do love me some Jaden Succo though.
Mm-hmm.
I love
two very different styles of running backs too.
I love Jaden Succo. I'm telling you, Fresno State stole that kid. Like he's awesome. So it'll be about like run fits and who can stop the run. Like and the toughness is going to be a major factor in this game. So like that's what it'll be. And I think it could be a decently low scoring game, to be honest.
Mike, which game means more for kind of the two big games in the area moving forward for the rest of the season, postseason, that sort of stuff? Is it Westside Elkhorn South or Scott Elkhorn North?
Well, Elkhorn North has like these 3 games here to end the year, so we'll learn a lot about them, right? And I love their group of linebackers at Elkhorn North. I think they are phenomenal. So I think it's probably more of the West Side Elkhorn South, like, because Elkhorn South, is it okay? Are you for real? Right? Is kind of that statement. And I think they're pretty good. And West Side, like, hey, was that Central game just a blip?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of the battle. Two very well coached teams. Coach Rosenberg does a great job.
And I loved talking to him last week. He
is great. So that one there'll be maybe some trickeration stuff. Hey, if you like the Rhino package, that's Elkhorn South. They started
listen, no one does a Rhino package better than Guy Rosenberg. Like that thing's elite.
They've done a great job of it for a long time, and prep obviously did last week.
How many touchdowns did Cole Ballard had out of the Rhino?
Oh, like Moses Bryant had a bunch too.
Oh, yeah.
Like 90% of his touchdowns.
Yeah, they had a bunch. So
let me ask you this: I wouldn't be doing my due diligence here. You mentioned.
Don't ask Millard North.
I'm going to.
Okay.
So Millard North got a good win against Lincoln East last week.
Mm-hmm.
They're going out to Kearney. What are the chances Millard North has against Kearney this week?
I think pretty good. I think last week was a pretty big statement for Millard North, and like, hey, we figured some stuff out. In my opinion, I think that's what happened. So, the Millard North actually, there's a scenario where a 3-6 Millard North team makes the playoffs, which means the only game that they absolutely have to win would be Columbus to get the second District A3 auto bid, because the top 2 teams make it. So they got a legit shot to make the playoffs at 3 wins. And that goes to the whole wildcard points thing with the new scheduling that people were worried about. It's still a strength of schedule equation in there. So, yeah, I think they got a shot. I do.
I will say one of the things I liked last week was, and I mentioned this guy to you, he's flown under the radar, certainly doesn't match the running backs we were talking about earlier. Isaiah Traylor is a really nice running back for Millard North. He had a big game against Lincoln East.
He started the year good too.
He did, yeah. And he had like an 80-yarder against Millard West early in the year. Like, really good back. If you're just looking for a good high school football player, like that dude's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, Kearney man, that gym thing, Austin, you shared, that's pretty sweet.
That was.
Oh yeah.
They I thought it was just a pep rally thing. They did it for their volleyball opener or Thursday night. They did it for that one too. I thought that was pretty cool.
Shout out to Rob Goff. That guy's the GOAT, man.
Yeah.
With stuff like that, he's fantastic with stuff like that. So.
Yeah, well, and we mentioned, some of the like Kearney beat Omaha North earlier this year too.
Yeah.
Like Kearney's had an interesting year, so I'll be interested to see that one.
It's pretty balanced, man. Like, let's just calm down. Like, just it's not really broken. Like, high school football is not super broken. How about this? Rather than focus on Class A, blowouts and oh my gosh, whatever. Let's spend some time focusing on what's really happening in that, like, C1, C2, 8-man stuff and what's going on there, because like more and more kids aren't going out for football, and like why?
Yep.
Like we need to worry about that why.
Yep.
Because
I just, like I said, I went out to Sydney last week and they're a C1 team. They've got like 32 kids on that roster that stand on the sidelines and play on the field. C1 team with like 30 some kids, and they're going to end up playing a Wahoo team that's got, I mean, Mike, you've been out there, like what, 50, 60 some?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those are teams playing on the same field.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's already, this week in C2, there are 2 forfeits as well.
Yeah, Oakland Craig just, from the beginning of the year, they didn't have enough players, which is shocking because, like, Oakland Craig won a state title in, 18, 19?
Yeah, they used to be a squad. Yep.
Yeah, and they've always been really good. And let me tell you, Joe Anderson's a hell of a high school football coach at Oakland Craig. And they only had, like, 17 kids come out. Mm-hmm. And you can't play C2 football doing that. So, like,
Herman's also forfeited this week.
Yeah, there's multiple. So let's care about the whole picture.
Yeah,
not just little slices of the picture.
Yep,
whole pie. That is our guy. I am a big whole pie guy. That is our guy, Mike Sautter, Hurrdat Sports, NebPreps. Appreciate the time as always, Mike, and enjoy. I'll see you out there tonight at Elkhorn South West Side.
Hey, I'm just gonna tell you, the only curse word I said was "damn" one time this whole time.
I was really impressed. You were ranting pretty good there too. Like, that's pretty good. I'm impressed.
Okay.
What good self-control you had today.
Have a great day.
Proud of you, Mike.
I thought he was going to drop it there. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
That's Mike Sautter, Hurrdat Sports at NebPreps. Let's take a quick break here. Come back. We've got to get to a little bit of, maybe a little bit of gambling this weekend. There's some. Hey,
we did pretty good the last time I was on.
Yeah, we did. There's some interesting games to be played, but one place you don't want to gamble is with your auto body repair. That's why you got to go to Dingman's Collision Center.
That's good.
Because they've got you covered. Family owned and operated in Omaha for the last 30 years. And for 20 of those, they've been first place Best of Omaha for auto body repair. It's because they care about you, they care about the community, and they invest in the latest and greatest technology and continue to train their employees so every repair is done safely and to the highest standard. Get to dingmans.com to learn more, schedule an appointment, and all that good stuff. For auto body repair, Dingman's is the only place to go. All right, we will be back with a little bet on it here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
Really everything, blocking, attacking multiple things as well. I feel like Becca and Andy both give such different, like they're both good at such different things. I can really learn everything and anything from them. I feel like just always being ready, continuing to learn the scout, even if you might not play, it's really important to at least be prepared. And really, the goal is for the team to win. It's not about me, and I have to constantly remind myself that it's not about me. It's about this team. I'll do whatever it takes to continue to get another win.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Special teams does two things. It develops guys with game reps, and as they start making plays with that, the game doesn't become quite as big, and so then their roles and your comfort with them and their roles goes up in other areas. And then number two, with the way that we're playing special teams and the things that we're trying to do, and taking some chances and trying to be explosive, guys are not just playing special teams; they're causing you to win. If you're out there on punt return right now, hey, go block a punt and change the game. If you're on a field goal, hey, go block a field goal and change the game. And so it's not like, hey, I'm going to go play special teams because coach wants me to play special teams. It's I'm going to go affect winning, and that's a cool mindset to have.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. It is time for Bet On It, brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook, the best place in Nebraska to place your sports bets. Make sure you download the app and build your bets within the app, and then you can go right to one of the locations in Omaha or Lincoln and place your bets right there. It's a great way to place your sports bets. We love Warhorse Sportsbook, both
don't
in
forget,
and in Omaha.
This was the pair that brought you Oregon outright against Penn State, Illinois outright against USC. We were there for you a couple weeks ago. We're here for you again. We're here to provide winners, baby.
We've got
winners.
I think we've got an interesting slate today. I think we got this weekend for games. Illinois is on here again. We've got Oregon on here again. I'm just going to start from the top. Right, I went kind of in chronological order. That's how I like to consume my.
By like game kickoff time.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I like that. No, I'm for that because when I'm looking down my list, that's how I want to.
Also, I know sometimes people like to chase a little bit. So by the end of the night, if you're down a little bit, maybe you're like, "Ooh, Arizona State, Utah. I really need this to come through." Kind of put a couple extra units on it. Ohio State is a 14.5-point favorite against Illinois at Illinois. How are we feeling about Ohio State, Illinois? I think that's an interesting game.
Yeah, to me, it's interesting because it's what Illinois can make of it. It's not. I don't fear that Ohio State's going to lose the game. I think Illinois is going to make it very interesting. I think they're going to be in that game a lot longer than people expect them to be. Illinois has to go up. The better half of Ohio State's team this year is definitely the defense. And if you think it's the offense, you haven't watched them play this season, right? So if Illinois' offense, which again, it's almost the opposite. Their offense is so much better than their defense has been. If the defense doesn't make opportune plays and at least force a turnover against Ohio State, it could get ugly. But that 14.5 is a lot. I think Illinois is better than 14.5. I think Ohio State wins, but I think Illinois can break in there.
So I'm going to do my best DB impression here, right? Because that number does seem too high to me. instead of taking the free money like I like to do, I think I have to say, hey, that's big for a reason. And I think I go Ohio State here. I agree with at first blush, I probably would have made this 9.5, 10, somewhere in there.
Is it in?
It is
Champaign?
in Champaign. 14.5 on the road in Champaign seems really big. I'm gonna do the DB here. It's big for a reason. I'm going Ohio State. Let's go, baby.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Trying to help you out there, DB.
Okay.
I'm trying to channel my inner winner with DB here.
My inner winner.
Is that a rapper?
What was that?
Alabama is a 2.5-point favorite against Missouri. This is at Columbia. What do we got?
You ready for my big win of the day?
Let's do it.
Missouri outright.
You doing Missouri money line?
Missouri money line.
What do we get? Let me see what the money line is here. That's a 2.5-point favorite
in Columbia on the hill, which the hill is kind of
plus 30 or plus 130. Plus 130 for the money line.
I love Missouri. I think JOHNK is a great coach. I think Missouri is completely underrated. For whatever reason, we completely skip over Missouri at each and every season. And yeah, a couple of times when we expect them to be good, they always disappoint us. They were a 9-3 team last year.
Pretty impressed with Prebula so far.
Yeah, and listen,
Hardy's great. I mean,
you want to talk about quarterbacks that don't get enough love? People are putting, and even rightfully so, like myself on my quarterback draft, we put Diego Pavia for our stats guys. We probably should have been drafting Prebula.
Well, I mean, it was a total unknown, really. I mean, we saw a little bit of him at Penn State, but this is actually a really good quarterback matchup. Ty Simpson's playing the position at a super high level. He's playing really well. Prebula's playing really well. You got Ahmad Hardy leading the country in rushing and going about 7 per carry there. This is a really interesting game. I'm actually really looking forward to watching this one. I'm going to go Missouri here.
So here's the toughest part about it, though, is that Alabama under DeBoer, they get up for these games, but they will drop the games that they're not supposed to. So you don't know which one you're supposed to get. Like, are they not going to try to evaluate Missouri the right way?
Yeah.
Or are they going to overlook Missouri because it's Missouri?
Yeah, because it's the name.
Yeah, right? Because that's a tough part. This is not an Alabama bet on my part. This is totally Missouri. I trust Missouri. Now, if they completely fall off the wagon here, I'll never come back on bet on it, okay? Because I gave the worst line of all time with that Arizona State game last year. That was terrible.
Pretty bad.
That was very bad. I feel this is a horrible way to put this. I feel as confident right now about Missouri over Alabama as I did that game last year, and that game ended horribly for me. So do with that as you will.
So that's not a ringing endorsement.
Yes, for me it is though, because that's how I feel. I feel it in my gut.
Missouri,
I feel good.
I'm taking Missouri as well. I'm just going to take the points though. I want the little cushion. All right. Next we've got Indiana and Oregon. Oregon is a 7.5-point favorite at home in Eugene against Indiana. What are we thinking here?
So
are we 10-0?
It's one of those thoughts that, okay, where do you evaluate Indiana? I don't think this is more of an Oregon question. I think you expect them to perform all that sort of stuff, right? Because they're going to be in Autzen. It's going to be that big atmosphere. Dan Lanning knows how to convince his team of anything. They could be playing, FCS Midwest, and they'd be like, all right, it's time to get out there and pour 70-80 on them, whatever. I feel like Indiana's just going to be caught with their pants down in this one. I think Oregon's going to come out and run them down.
This is the thing we've seen about Oregon last year was when they play a team that is clearly better, they are treated as such. And that's clearly the case here with Oregon. Again, this is one of those based on 3 versus 7. You think this is a much closer line than 7.5. I think it's big for a reason. I'm taking Oregon and the points.
Here's the thing, though, is that I would caution people, like if you're confident like I am in saying that Oregon's going to win, Cignetti's got a way of keeping a game closer than what if you watch the game it ended up being. Think of the Notre Dame game and the Ohio State games. Those games, Indiana was never in those contests at all. But for whatever reason, they score these late touchdowns to close that gap. Not saying that 7.5 is going to be a gap that they close. I think Oregon could probably win by, 2 scores or so. But there's a chance that they get the backdoor cover on that side, and you could be sweating it out if you're betting on the game.
I'm going to be honest. I might buy the hook down to 7.
Yep.
But I'm just to get it to that key number for a push if I need to. But I will take Oregon on the spread there. Next one up, Oklahoma at Texas. This one got a lot more interesting when it appears John Mateer is going to give it a go. He's listed as probable now on the injury report. I don't know what to do with that because, man, if that hand gets hit, because right now they're saying it's pain and an ability to grip the football. If his hand gets hit even one time or gets hit on a helmet on a follow-through, I have to imagine that's all she wrote for him for that day. I think you know how I feel about Arch Manning. I think I go Texas here. Their defensive line's really good. I think they're going to get enough pressure on Mateer to make him uncomfortable with that hand. I think I'm going to go Texas with the 1.5 here.
Ooh, wow.
I'm zagging a little bit.
Wow,
I'm zagging
that's
a
a
little
big
bit.
zag.
I'm zagging a little bit. I think I
Well,
got to go. I don't trust.
What do we know about Oklahoma without Mateer?
Eh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Because Mateer obviously takes them to where they are, top 5-6
yeah,
team,
yeah.
right? But do you trust Texas being an unranked team in that environment? It's one of the last true rivalry games where you can say you throw out the records, you throw out everything, because this game is always a little bit weird.
We've seen some mediocre teams beat really highly ranked teams in this one. I don't think Texas is mediocre by any means. I do think Arch is bad. I do think their defensive line is really. I got to go Texas.
Now here's the other part of it too: is that if Mateer, obviously he's going to play in the game. We've kind of heard that he's listed as probable. Why wouldn't Oklahoma hold all their cards as close to their chest as possible?
Well, they have to release the report now.
Right, and I understand that, but you don't have to list him as probable. You can list him as however you want to list him, right? And there were rumors that came out earlier, and there was a leak. Did you see the Chipotle leak?
I did not see the Chipotle leak.
Allegedly, he was at Mateer was at a Chipotle in Norman, and the Chipotle worker recognized him and said, "How's the hand?" And he goes, I'm playing Saturday. And then there was a video of him eating said Chipotle with
the hand. Chipotle, famously a little smaller than a football.
A
little bit smaller,
little bit.
But a heavy burrito.
A heavy burrito, and you got to grip that thing, you know?
Was he two-handing it? A lot of people two-hand a burrito.
A lot of people two-handed burrito. You're correct.
Are you going to pick a game? Are you going to pick a side here?
Dude, listen. This is tough, but I think I convinced myself that the Mateer Chipotle hand has to work, right? So I got to go Oklahoma.
If he's one hand on that burrito, he can definitely hold a football.
He can survive anything. Could you imagine? Venables sends him out. You one-hand a burrito. You tell me if you're good.
That's he's warming up. He just got Chipotle. I'm good, Coach. I'm good. All right. Next one. Speaking of Texas, Florida goes to Texas A&M this week. They are a 7.5-point dog against the Aggies. I think that I'm having a hard time here because I think that number's too low.
I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
Florida wins in the upset. This is a Napier's trying to save his job. And it's also the ultimate A&M letdown spot. I mean, this is
you're right.
Like A&M
is
due. They are so due.
You're right.
And right now, everyone is starting to inch their way, being like, maybe
A&M?
Maybe they're the top team in the SEC. And then
A&M?
That's what they're about to do. It's the perfect A&M spot. Until they get past that, I'm not going to trust them. Lagway played a little bit better. Napier's fighting for his job, and man, does no coach better coach than Billy Napier when he is definitely up against the wall and the pink slip is under his door. He's going to get the team going. They at least, they're going to keep it close. I think Florida wins.
So this is, again, channeling my inner DB here. That number is much lower than I would anticipate it being. And rather than taking the free money, I'm going to say it's low for a reason. Let's take the Gators.
Okay.
Also, I just want to torture Brian Edwards if Billy Napier saves his job again.
God, it'd be great. That'd be phenomenal.
It'd be incredible. All right, next one up here.
I don't like it.
I'm sure you don't. This is another line that stinks to high hell. Georgia, just a 3.5-point favorite at Auburn. How are we feeling?
Georgia, 3.5-point favorite at Auburn.
Feels like it should be bigger than that. I don't think Auburn's very good.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard that line, too. I didn't even look at that.
I don't think he's very good.
Man, what's going on with Georgia if that line is that way? I mean, I trust the Bulldogs and everything. I trust Kirby Smart and these sort of games, too, because when it's not Alabama, they always seem to figure out a way. 3.5 is very interesting. And they haven't been a super high-scoring offense either,
No.
so if it gets close, it'll stay close.
I do have to say this is my first free money play of the day. I got to go Georgia here. I think Auburn and Hugh Freeze are genuinely I think Hugh Freeze is not that good anymore. I think he lost the fastball. I'm going Georgia here.
Okay. All right. I'd follow your lead. I'll follow your lead.
All right. Here's another Big Ten one that I'm interested in. Michigan is a 2.5-point dog at USC. Listen, this has Illinois vibes written all over it. A big physical team against USC that they are not prepared to handle. I know that they're better than they were a couple years ago. I would say they're even better than they were last year. I still think they struggle with super physical Big Ten teams. We saw that with Illinois. They lost that game. I think we see it again with Michigan. That is a super physical, good fronts on both sides, Big Ten team. We saw that when they played Nebraska. I've got Michigan as the 2.5-point dog. I think they went outright.
And it's in
Los Angeles. That's not really a home field advantage, though. Nobody
it's not.
Cares.
I mean, it's more of a neutral site, if anything else.
Yeah,
so.
like if anything, it's a you got to bring your own energy thing.
Yeah. Listen, defense always travels. That's perception. And also the way Michigan can run the football. Nebraska saw it. They did it on a road environment there. I don't think USC can handle that for 4 entire quarters. USC, if I'm taking point totals, I would take point totals in that game. I'd probably hit an over on that because I think that USC won't be able to stop Michigan. And I think USC will stay in it to be able to kind of keep the pass game moving that way, especially if Maeva's, I guess, under the Lincoln Riley impression right now.
Yeah.
I'm with you, though. Michigan wins outright.
All right, last one here. This one's interesting because it falls under one of my trends that I like to bet.
Well.
And it's one of my favorite teams.
Okay.
The Utah Utes, 8.5-point favorites at home against ranked Arizona State. This is an unranked home favorite against a ranked team. That trend hits about 70% of the time.
Jeff Sims may play.
Ooh.
Did you see that? Levin may be out.
I didn't realize Jeff Sims had eligibility still. Is he still on the roster?
It's insane that he may have a chance.
Unbelievable. I'm taking the Utes. I'm taking the 8.5. Yeah. I'm following because that's a big number, bigger than it should be. Probably has to do with the quarterback situation.
Yep. Levin just downgraded to doubtful against Utah 12 hours ago.
Oof. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely taking Utah here.
Yeah, look at this. This is the second. If you Google Jeff Sims, Arizona State, from yellowjackedup.com, former Georgia Tech 6th-year senior could start for Arizona State at Utah. Yeah, go Utah.
There we go.
It's the Utes.
We got the Utes. The Utah Utes.
That's win, baby.
That's Bet On It, brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook, the best place in Nebraska. Place your sports bets. Get the app, build your bets, place them in person at either location in Lincoln or Omaha. Shane, let's take a super quick break here. About a minute, and then we will come back and wrap up the show. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. As we wrap up the show for the day, I want to remind you, go to centrusfcu.org. If you're looking for a little expertise to keep on track with your finances, they've got you covered. Centrus offers free financial counseling services to its members through its partner, Green Path Financial Wellness. Whether it's debt counseling, or just overall financial guidance, Centrus and Green Path are here to help. Become a Centrus member today and learn more about the partnership with Green Path at centrusfcu.org, federally insured by NCUA. Just got a couple minutes here. I know end of Friday shows are probably going to be a little weird for a while, and I understand that. I don't know the right way to handle it. I will say, though, I wasn't really sure how we wanted to do this today, and then I was scrolling Facebook during a break here, and Piezon's Pizzeria posted something. So I wanted to share that with people. It says, we want our customers and community to know that Piezon's will remain open. I know a lot of people have asked about that in the last couple of weeks. Our team is committed to carrying forward Matt's values, excellent service, and pizza made perfect on purpose. Then they list their hours. looks like mostly takeout for lunch and then full service in the evenings, with the exception being Wednesday where they are full service 11 to close. Go to Piezon's Pizzeria Facebook page to get the exact hours and everything.
And let's make them as busy as possible.
Yes, they are. And if you're looking for a job, they're currently taking applications for experienced daytime servers. We appreciate your patience while we figure out a couple of things. Thank you for the support. Would love to see them continue to be supported by the Omaha community the way they've supported the Omaha community since they've been open. The We Care Wednesdays and things like that, where they give back to the community, was all part of Matt's vision and values. And so wanted to share that, felt appropriate as we wrapped up the show here on a Friday.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
I was just wondering that the other day.
A lot of people have asked, and I didn't have a good answer for them. The other thing people have asked about is a memorial service. That will be, if you haven't seen on Facebook, that will be a week from tomorrow at Scott, October 18th at 11 a.m. if you want to remember and celebrate the life of Matt Verzal. I don't know what Friday at this time is going to look like moving forward. Whatever feels appropriate is probably what we'll do, and I may not know until I'm randomly scanning Facebook and it tells me what to do.
And let's be honest too, it's one of those things that there is no wrong or right way to handle this, and we'll just kind of move along and we'll adjust, and it'll work out. But yeah, it's just there's no perfect way to be able to ease through that, right?
So if you're looking for a little takeout lunch today, maybe give Piezon's a call, order a pie, and
I may have to.
I was gonna say
I'm going to Scott tonight anyway, so
I'll say you're gonna be over there. Absolutely. So might have to grab.
I think they'll let me have Piezon's pizza on the sideline.
That might be the only pizza they'll let you have on the sideline.
What if I do a big game pizza of the day?
You should give out pizzas instead of chains.
That would be great.
Just give out.
That would actually be phenomenal.
You know how pumped the kids would be?
Let's go!
Let's get some pizza.
Pizza.
That's the show for today. We appreciate everybody joining us. Austin, thank you for sitting in. Shane, thanks for getting the door for me today, buddy.
Oh, no problem.
We will be back on Monday. Don't forget, tomorrow, Austin and I will be here at the bar, Hail Varsity post-game show following Nebraska and Maryland. Let's get that Nebraska W. I gave my prediction on the video. I'm going to give it here. Nebraska 31-13.
Ooh, I like that.
Mark it down. You have one?
Keep it a buck. Nebraska wins 38-3.
Oh,
big one.
Okay.
Big
Austin
one.
calling his shot. He and I will be back tomorrow for Hail Varsity post-game show. DB and I will be back on Monday for Hurrdat Sports Live.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.